welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How's everybody doing? Let's give a big shout out to the replay gang who missed the live party. You missed the live party, guys, but that is all right. Make sure you are here every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you will never miss a party ever again. Plus, I like to go live whenever, so hit that subscribe button and you will definitely never miss anything. Let's also say thank you to my6shirt.com. Whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, it is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. What is good? We got Opus in the building. We got Kelly Green in the building. Welcome to the party. So first things first, I want to give out a shout out to Opus, who doesn't believe me that I have him ready, but he got the secret word in yesterday's video. So shout out to Opus. And I also have to give a big shout out to Jeff Pearson. I made a horrible mistake when in the last stream when we had just an awesome crew. Five of you joined to be members, and I accidentally put Mark's name in the banner instead of Jeff Pearson. So shout out to Jeff Pearson for being the very first member of the channel. Speaking of members, we got Melted Mind Media in the building. Another awesome YouTuber. Just dropped the link to his channel. Definitely go check that out. All right. Let's party. So this is something, this is a channel that I have wanted to share with you guys for a while. This chick called Gothix. And she seemed pretty like superficially edgy and this and that and whatever, but she kind of had something that was like, all right, let me see what's here. And she's actually pretty based, but she's recently gotten very much into Christianity and shoves that into everything she does. And if you don't know the Indian Jesus, how I feel about that as an atheist, that although conservative and Christian values are amazing, that gatekeeping those morals by your beliefs is a bad idea. So that is exactly what we're going to dive into. So she's actually showing us a film from the World War II era about fascism. So let's check it out. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Hey everyone, my name is Gothix and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I like talking about things that upset people, not intentionally. It's just the consequence of me using my brain. But I like to talk about things on this channel that not everyone agrees with, but
I said shit, me too.
I found this video. Actually, someone sent it to me. Thank you, John. And this video really ties into a lot of the craziness that we're seeing in the world.
Yeah, we're growing.
And it's an anti-fascist education film that was made in 1947. And I scanned a little bit in this video and woo!
When I said there was something, I was like, let me just see what's going on here. I said there was something. I didn't say what.
There's a lot to unpack. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching this video explain how we're essentially repeating history because humans are dumb and never learn from our mistakes.
Bingo!
Don't be a sucker.
Henry here got on the train with $200. He couldn't see any harm in a friendly game of cards.
Oh, come on, don't do this.
The other men were strangers. And take Joe Collins. He's got a nice...
Hey, we got Zippy the Strange in the building. Another one of the channel members. Welcome to the party. So the Sith Cat is here. Hate everything. I mean, love. Well, as long as you're happy to be here, I am happy that you are here. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
His wife at home. But he met this girl at the bar, and she looked after the first couple of drinks.
Oh. Come on, don't make me do a restart. Hey there, what you doing with that lady? Did he just throw a rock? Oh, this is a Better Call Saul situation. So she takes him out. Oh, take me home, and we'll go to the alley, and then homeboy comes in and plays his part. And they get away.
You
Flip
know,
and Jimmy.
it's so fascinating to me how quickly and how easily people are willing to put complete trust in strangers. So just because someone says nice things
Oh, come on, man.
and they give you compliments and they just,
Reduced.
bat their eyelashes, all of a sudden you put total trust in these individuals. This is a film made in 1947 and people are still getting catfished, getting scammed, and it's wild that
I'm gonna try, and if that keeps happening, I'm just what I'm gonna do is just pop onto my phone, restart the computer real quick, and we'll come back up because I am not dealing with that struggle streaming all day. But yeah, Obis, you're on point. She pulls it off. And credit where credit is due.
human beings haven't figured it out.
I'm too poor to have YouTube Premium, and as soon as I do, we will never have to worry about these problems. But for now, we're on our way. You guys join, like Opus said, 1.39 to 1.4 in 2 days. We're getting there. But for now, the struggle stream it is.
Like they keep falling for the same nonsense. And if you look at this scenario from a larger perspective, let's say putting your total trust in politicians, oh man, now you're really in trouble.
There's a good old-fashioned word for people like us. We call them suckers.
Suckers.
And there are other people who stay up nights figuring out how to take away what they've got.
Scheming, eh?
There
we go. So now she goes, of course, to the Bible. So let's see what is in this mighty Bible in Proverbs chapter 4, verses 14 to 16 that cannot be learned or understood without a belief in God.
Enter the path of the wicked and do not walk in the way of evil. Avoid it. Do not go on it. Turn away from it and pass on, for they cannot sleep unless they have done wrong. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble.
Okay, well, let's break that down. Do not enter the path of the wicked. Okay, understand, that seems reasonable. And do not walk in the way of evil. Avoid it. Do not go on it. Turn away from it, pass on, for they can blah, 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 blah. So basically just you are the people you surround yourself with. No God necessary.
So the scenario in this opening video is this guy knows he has a wife at home, but instead tries to hook up with some lady at the bar, gets robbed in the process, and then the narrator says there are some people that will lose sleep trying to figure out how to manipulate suckers.
Mike here, for instance. He's got everything. He's young, he's healthy, got a job, and he's got plenty of food. Big factories to make things a man can use. Big cities to do the business of a big company. And people. Lots of people. Enough to work the farm and build the factories, dig the mines.
Real men.
Run the business. All kinds of people. People from different countries with different religions, different colored skins. Free people. They can live together and work together and build America.
I wanted to use, but I just moved it because I got some new ones, but oh well.
America together because they're free. Free to vote, to say what they please, go to their own churches.
It's America. It's America, Jack.
Pick their own jobs. Yeah, Mike's got something, all right. He's got America. But there are guys who stay up nights figuring out how to take that away from him.
I happen to know the facts. My friends, I'm just an average American.
Here we go, the modern leftist.
But I'm an American, and some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign money. I see Negroes holding jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on...
Now, of course, we do not approve of that language, but we are in a historical context, so...
It's going to become of us real Americans.
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
This fellow seems to know what he's talking about. What are we real Americans going to do about it? You'll find it right here in this little pamphlet.
I'm surprised she didn't pause on that little phrase there. That like, oh well, he seems to know what he's talking about. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. That notion of charisma is or riz, as the kids say these days. When it comes to politics, we just saw how important that actually is. And it should be all about the policies and this and that, whatever. But we just saw Ron DeSantis' announcement. And unfortunately, charisma matters.
The truth about Negroes and foreigners. The truth about the Catholic Church.
Do you believe in that kind of talk?
I don't know, makes pretty good sense to me.
The modern normie, not the leftist, the normie Democrat.
And I tell you, friends, we'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without Negroes, without alien foreigners, without Catholics, without Freemasons. You know these things.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason, says the guy. Well, everything that he was saying sounded fine to you before he mentioned your group. And that's how fascism works, is that it's all about, what's the line? When the socialists came, I said nothing. And then the communists came and I said nothing. And then when they came to get me, there was nobody left or something like that. I know I butchered that, but exactly that point. Hey, we got St. Michael of Cigarillo in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Well, I mean, ideologically, not so much, but it was peaceful.
Hey, that fella's talking about me.
You know, I find it so interesting that a lot of people who seem to be on the Marxist, communist, socialist bandwagon is that they subscribe to a lot of ideas that sound good on paper without realizing that a lot of these ideas that they advocate for will eventually affect them as well. It's like someone who pushes for censorship or to raise taxes, like tax the rich, right? It's like they don't realize by giving the government more power and more authority and pushing for more legislation,
it takes the power away from you as the individual. But somehow, yet again, in the course of history, we've been able, not we, but they have been able to convince large swaths of people that the collective is more important than themselves. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
They're not exempt from these rules. It's going to come back and bite them right in the big behind, but they don't realize it because they're sort of on this
power trip,
on this self-aggrandizement high. You know, I'm doing it.
It's they take the moral high ground and then they're like, yep, we're right, we're done, we're good. And St. Michael says, fascists burn books about sex changes and homosexuality. Communists burn books that question their logic. Facts.
A thing. I'm helping. I'm fighting for a better future, a better country. Got to get rid of all the people until you realize that they're also talking about you. And so this guy is like, wait a minute, I was in agreement until you said this particular.
Come on.
Thing, and it's unfortunate. A lot of people don't wake up until it's right on their doorstep.
Nope.
But the other thing I wanted to point out is I can always tell when there is some type of an ulterior motive behind someone like this who's
This is the entire purpose of this channel, guys. When somebody has an ulterior motive behind the things that they are saying, You can say all the dumb things and advocate for all the horrible things that you want. It's America. Go for it. But what I really hate is that you like, well, Zippy, I only have the 720. I can't afford the 1080 of StreamYard anyway, so 720 works for me. So I mean, hey, if if you can get this sent to me somehow by the time we're still working, just drop that link in the Discord. What was I saying? Yeah. So the idea of having your ideas and articulating them in an honest way. You have to be able to determine when somebody is not only saying something that you disagree with, but saying something that they disagree with. That's almost more important than pointing out when people disagree with you. St. Michael said she's watching an old PSA. Yeah, so it's a short film from the World War II era about fascism. And as the fourth turning says, here we are needing it exactly again today.
Standing up on a soapbox and just I can always tell when there is some type of an ulterior motive behind someone like this who's standing up on a soapbox and just rah, 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 about how bad America is. You see it a lot when people on the left criticize America, and then people on the right will be like, all right, well, just move, right? If America is so racist, what's stopping you from getting on a boat and going somewhere else?
Well, I need to stay here and fight. And by fight, I mean go on Twitter all day and tweet about nothing.
Because we all have some ability to make change on a personal level. It starts with the individual. What am I going to do to contribute towards a better society? Bingo. Instead of saying we got to get rid of this, and this. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said about people who want to destroy instead of create.
Shut up! That's what you tell people who want to destroy instead of create. Shut up!
And you see this a lot with communists and socialists and Marxists. They just complain about everything, not realizing they're benefiting from the literal policies that are allowing them to stand on that soapbox and complain.
Hey, that fellow's talking about me. And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies. These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm talking to Zippy over here trying to get a good version of the video. So let me just back that up.
These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for.
Ah, so it's somebody on top saying this person's bad, this person's bad, this person's bad. Now, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying all of your problems are their fault. Sound familiar?
And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us.
Not much, Melty. I am experiencing the same kind of difficulties. Luckily, Zippy is working behind the scenes to get us a downloaded version so I can just play it through VLC. But not much. Not much.
This sounds very familiar. I could be wrong, but this sounds a lot like the left-wing politicians who get on mainstream news and try to convince the population that the biggest threat to American democracy are white supremacists, MAGA Republicans, Christian nationalists, transphobic bigots. And let's not forget the unvaccinated. They're showing
the unvaccinated. The unvaccinated. Oh no. Can I? Boom. All right. Let's see what do we got. And Zippy, shout out to Zippy. Look at that. Look at that. 851. So let's get rid of this. We don't need this. And we can do this. Oh, but we don't have captions. Are we gonna be able to have captions? That'll be the only frustration. But no, all right. Well, no captions for today, but they're talking. We'll see. All right, cool. We are at 8:51.
MAGA Republicans, Christian nationalists, transphobic bigots. Oh, and let's not forget the unvaccinated. They're showing you who they want you to perceive as the enemy for a good reason. If you're in a position of power, the government, it is assumed that you will advocate for the betterment of civilization in general, not just a small subset of people. So you should be very cautious to listen to politicians who paint this picture of us versus them, because they're not helping all Americans. They're isolating Americans and saying these are our enemies, and you should really ask yourself why that is.
Because they want power. It's always the same thing. It's always because they want the power. They're creating an enemy and then saying, we have the solution. Just listen to us, follow us, and we will give you the solution. Hey, we were just talking about our #1 member, Jeff Pearson, in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, brother. Sorry, I had your name wrong in the banner the other day, but want to make sure everybody knows Jeff Pearson was #1. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What does he say? So tyranny is tyranny. Well, I understand the technical differences between fascists and communists, but they are simply tyrants. Bingo. Both demand we violate our own conscience for their benefit. Spot on, brother. Spot on. Welcome to the party. Oh no, tell me this doesn't work either.
Before he said Masons, you were
good,
ready to agree with
good.
him.
Well, yes, but he was talking about, what about those other people?
But in this country, we have no other people.
Okay, this isn't going to work either, but we'll use it for now. Yeah, well, what about those other people? Well, the other people are just like you. You're like, wait a minute. You're talking about me? I don't know what? And it's just like, well, somebody else who sounded like they knew what they were talking about said it, so it must be true. Oh yeah, we got this already. And okay, thank you, Zippy.
We are American people.
What about you? You aren't American, are you?
I was born in Hungary, but now I am an American citizen. And I have seen what this kind of talk can do. I saw it in Berlin.
What were you doing there?
I was a professor at the university. I heard the same words we have heard today.
And it's the same kind of thing that you'll see when you have older people. It used to be that the good professors. I don't know why I need the quotes. The actual good professors were on university grounds. They were there to get debate and conversation and dive into new ideas and open your mind and all of these things. But then the leftists came, and now that they either quit or they've been beaten into submission. They're like, okay, whatever you say, men can become women and anything, and that's what's happened.
But I was a fool then. I thought Nazis were crazy people, stupid fanatics. But unfortunately, it was not so. You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups.
And again, she uses her Bible here, which, again, I don't disagree with the statement. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand, from Mark chapter 3, verse 25. Great. But do I need to believe in God in order to agree with that statement? All right.
They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Of course, that was not easy to do. They had to work hard to do it. We human beings are not born with prejudices. Always they are made for us. Made by someone who wants something.
Yep.
Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody is going to get something out of it, and it isn't going to.
It's power. It's power.
This is not classroom theory. I saw it happen.
Divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks in the book. And it's so sad to me that Americans, or not all of them, but a big chunk of them can't look back in history and compare the similarities between how America is so divided to how people were divided during the Holocaust, during the Cultural Revolution, or really any other event in history. You'll usually find divide and conquer.
Yep.
And what
I mean, just go back to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. That is the fundamental virtue of attack, is when you have a group that's too big, divide and conquer. That's been war and battle and politics and everything. Step number 1: divide and conquer.
we're divided during. I tell people is that the method that's being implemented in America is more palatable for Americans. So what they do is they use diversity as the Trojan horse for this method. And they'll say, okay, we want to push for more diversity and inclusion, but that's just the packaging. What's inside is division. It's divide and conquer. So first you have to divide the population by presenting something that looks appealing, it looks good, it looks nice. Yes, who wouldn't want diversity? Who wouldn't want inclusion? Now, here's the thing, is that you can't force diversity, nor can you force inclusion. There will...
Yeah, Michael's saying, St. Michael's saying, personally, I'm still waiting on people to start finally admitting what's going on with violent crime in the U.S. But if you try, you're not part of the group anymore. You don't get any street cred because now you're just simping for the other side. Like, what? No, I'm just talking about reality. Is that a tenet of the other side? Well, then I guess I'm part of the other side. Hey, we got Iridium Kush in the building. Welcome to the party. Says Yuri Bezmenov summarizes this perfectly. Oh, please. What does he say? Let us know.
Always be people who do not want to accept certain groups of people into their particular circle. And that's just how it is. There's nothing you can do about it. No amount of marching, protesting, legislation is going to change that. Let me give you an example. If we take trans rights, or really LGBT community in general. I know there's a lot of letters, all right? So bear with me. These two groups, or really it's technically the same group, is always going to be at odds with Bible-believing Christians, not fake Christians.
I wonder why. That is. She said they will always be at odds with Bible-believing Christians. And that's because the Bible says that your existence is evil. Now, if you believe that, then, I mean, okay, you're allowed to believe whatever you want. But do you think, number one, that anything that you have to say is going to appeal to these people, help these people, change these people, anything like that? And number two, do you think it's just to treat people differently just based on the fact that they are different than you? Because that's what the Bible does. So if we're picking teams, just make sure that's your team.
Who conveniently neglects to read 80% of the Bible because it's irrelevant to them. But Bible, the Holocaust during the Cultural.
All right, we're gonna try this. That's most of you. Most of you who claim to be Christians are just completely, it's all in name. So I'm gonna try this again. Because my button's not working with VLC, and let's just give it try number 2. All right, but yeah, so that's an important part. The fact that people who call themselves Christians but aren't really practicing Christians, aren't really reading their Bibles, aren't really doing that kind of stuff. Thank you, Zippy. It's just a label. And there's no reason to separate yourself from, from other people, because there's no meaningful difference there.
will always be at odds with sin, period.
Okay.
And LGBT
I'll check that out, Zippy. Thank you.
DQIA falls into that category. So now, if you take this narrative that you must accept this community, you are essentially creating agitation between these two groups instead of group one, the gay group, recognizing that not everyone is going to accept my behavior. It is what it is. Another example that I can give you is this concept of anti-racism. Now, if you're not familiar with this, let me explain. It's this idea that we have to constantly, always be fighting to dismantle
The
racism
patriarchy
or white supremacy or institutional systemic discrimination.
I knew it was
There's a lot
coming.
of terms, but we have to constantly be fighting to be an anti-racist in order to help people who have been victimized by this racist system that we're living in. It sounds like a science experiment. But the problem with that is there are millions of people, myself included, that don't care to speak about racism every 5 seconds. In fact, it's completely irrelevant to me because if someone doesn't want to include me, then that's their business. I'm not going to force them to change how they feel. Now,
What? Not forcing people to try to change how they feel as a political strategy? I didn't know we could do that. Okay, all right, making sense.
oh, the narrative of anti-racism is that unless you're actively fighting against these injustices, these invisible barriers of systemic racism, then I'm also a racist. I am somehow uplifting the same system that is oppressing my Black brothers and sisters. So you see the conflict here. I don't care about this conversation. And anti-racism says, no, you're the bad guy because you're not actively fighting against this machine.
So typically, this is another example of semantic obfuscation. Typically, anti-racist would be just the notion that you are against racism. But it's not that simple. It means you are part of a complete ideology that includes being acting out and saying certain things, kind of like a religion. But they don't use it that way, unless they want to use it that way. When they're using it against you, like, no, it's just because we want to. It's just we're anti-racism. That's it. But now when it's you're like, you know what, dude, I don't really want to talk about race. You're not anti-racist, how do you bigot?
How dare you?
This is how they use language in a tyrannical way.
But let's continue and see what else this guy has to say.
Let's, shall
I saw
we?
it first in Berlin in 1932. 5 young men that I knew were standing in the crowd listening to the Nazi speaker. Eric was a Catholic. Anton, a student of mine, was a Jew. Heinrich owned a small hardware store. Karl was a farmer. And Hans was an unemployed metal worker.
To all Bavarian Germans, I say it is time you inherited the nation which rightfully belongs to you. To you alone belongs the glorious destiny of the greater Germany. The Nazi Party will provide land for the farmer.
So similar to, we got to play it fair here, similar to this idea of make America great again. Now, I think that's a great message. But it's the people who twisted that idea to be like, oh, you like the past where this, that happened? It's like, no. And I was one of these people. But I didn't realize, like, no, it's just a longing for a specific set of values, a specific set of ideals, and not saying, take everything. There was a time when the ideals that we had, the values that we had, the ones that were respected, were a lot more at the forefront of civilization. And so just because other bad stuff was happening doesn't mean that we can't desire the values that were held by a larger society at the time. It's not that complicated, but they make it that complicated.
Work for the worker.
They try to.
And profit for the small businessman. Who is getting these things now? The Jew. The Jew who has stolen our nation and our birthright.
This is definitely getting demonetized.
Who makes all the money and takes all our jobs? The Jew.
So if you're
This might get me banned.
in America, I want you to swap this narrative out. Take out Jew and put in white supremacy. And on the oppressed side, I want you to put in Black Americans. And you see, it sounds identical.
Or for I think for my stream, I think LGBT instead of Black Americans works better. She's a Black American, so that is a little bit more relevant to her situation. Given that I'm not, I would rather for my show, if we are thinking about it, definitely think of the instead of them saying the Jews, think white supremacists or MAGA Republicans or anything like that. And then for the oppressed side, think of the LGBT community.
Black America built this nation.
Well, I don't know if they're saying that LGBT built this nation, but they're definitely saying that the Native Americans had two spirits. So that's always been a thing.
That you're hearing that a lot lately. So just swap it out with a different category, and you'll see that the narrative hasn't shifted. It's just arbitrary.
The Jew, he must be shunned. He must be ostracized. He must be eliminated. And the Catholics, we don't want our great nation run by a foreign church. We Germans will know what to do with these people when the time comes.
So because they're speaking heavily against the Catholic Church, which we would not see in America today. But so who do you guys think would be a good stand-in for Catholics in this analogy?
And their faith must be destroyed. Then there are the Freemasons. In Germany, we have no place for secret societies. There may be only one society, and that is a Nazi party.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of already thought that like the Freemasons were like a creepy, weird group. I don't know much about it at all, but I don't even know. Yeah, what even is what even are Freemasons?
There may be no secrecy about that in the new Greater Germany.
You see everybody backing away from him just because the guy who's being the loudest, the guy standing up on a platform, the guy with the microphone said, "Ooh, that guy's bad." Look at it again.
Place for secret societies.
This is it.
There may be only
Everybody
one
sees
society,
the ring.
and that is
oh
Nazi
no!
party. There may be no secrecy about that.
He's oppressing us.
In the new Greater Germany.
One by one, he attacked each minority and he split them off one from the other.
And again, now it's the opposite. Now you take each minority and lift them up, except for white men. How's that working?
These men were all fellow Germans when they came here today. Now they were split into rival groups.
Yeah. So a few things I want to comment on that particular clip. First of all, I don't trust the Freemasons. Okay, I've said this before, but my husband.
That's what I was like. Hold on, isn't that a thing? Like Freemasons are not just like a what's the word? Innocuous group, are they? I really don't know much about it. Maybe that's another show.
Husband was on the verge of joining the Freemasons, and it's so interesting that it was like a week before he was set up to go to his I don't know what it's called, like an initiation dinner. A week before that happened, he gave his life over to Christ, and I thought it was the perfect timing. But in any case,
all right. Well, welcome to the party, Lars and Rune said Freemasonry is a form of Gnosticism, i.e. secret knowledge. Okay, and Zippy adds on, Freemasons are basically a treehouse club for married carpenters and masons. Okay, that got to a point that let most men in. It's a silly organization, but built by bored day laborers. Okay, well, good to know. Good to know. Thank you, guys. See, we're all learning. Good.
It's interesting because they're villainizing Freemasons, they're villainizing Catholics, and regardless of what the core belief system is within these two entities, the overall message here is we don't want people being influenced by anyone else. Bingo! The Nazis want to influence. So again, take Nazi out, put communists in. It's the same thing. We need to villainize these groups of people. You see a lot of anti-Christian rhetoric happening in America. Why is that? It's because they don't want these people to be influenced by the word of God. We want to influence these people. And the other thing that
So I want to stop her there because this is where your idea is like, how do you not realize you just said the same thing that the bad people were doing? You said, we want you to be influenced by this and that. And then you take the word of God. We need the word of God to influence people. How is this not like, come on.
The narrator.
So listen to how she is framing what they're saying. And then right in the next breath, does the exact same
Nazi
thing.
out, put communists in. It's the same thing. We need to villainize these groups of people. You see a lot of anti-Christian rhetoric happening in America. Why is that? It's because they don't want these people to be influenced by the word of God. We want to influence these people. And the other thing.
So they don't want you to be a free thinker. They want you to listen to their ideology that cannot be questioned. It is dogmatic. So if you're really about free thought, then why are you tying yourself to this dogmatic ideology? That if you can question it, but can you really question it? Because if you're actually questioning it, then you're not a believer, according to some. I mean, some of you might say that that counts, and some of you might say that it doesn't, and nobody really knows because there's no such thing as real Christianity. So it's just whatever you want. Zippy says, I was in the demolays longer than the Boy Scouts. What is demolays? Bologna gravy was the most evil thing. Well, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Thing that the narrator pointed out was the fact that
let's check our poll here, where I asked, which era has worse fascism in America? And it was very close. We were at 10 votes, 50-50, but the last person hit it and went to today. Very, very interesting. And I think I would agree. I would say the intensity of the authoritarianism that was acted out certainly was worse in in the past. I would certainly say that, open blatant racism was much more of a problem in the 1970s. But the ideas, the reach of the ideas, I think, are way, 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 way further than your average person didn't think that, let's say in 1970, I don't think, wasn't alive, but I don't think the average person was talking about the latest talking points that they heard from the news and believing it without having any other understanding. Or if they were doing that, it was because they could. The news actually was the news and not an entertainment program that happened to have some information that's some tangentially related to what's going on in the world. But I think it's worse today. I think it's further reaching today. And because it's still on the upswing, I think we are headed for a disaster if we don't stop it. And we've seen it before in history. So people believing that it can't happen again, you're only fooling yourself.
They were all Germans, and then all of a sudden, now they're in their own different categories. And
we're all Americans, but now it's the BIPOCs and the 2SLA LGBTQ people and the come on. It's so obvious, these categories. And I don't understand how people don't see that this is how it happens. This happens to be about America in the 1930s, in Germany in the 1930s. But it could be any time that fascist dictators have taken over. Anytime. It's all the same playbook. Hey, we got Ziggs in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cook me up something nice. What you cooking, bro? I'm hungry. I didn't eat. I haven't been feeling well today, but
then again, same thing is happening in America. We are all Americans, but now it seems as though a lot of people are at odds with each other and they're looking at the world through an us versus them mentality.
And one of those sides, which obviously we will say them, inherently creates a perspective that America is bad. So that we don't even want to all be Americans together. Like, oh, well, you're patriotic. That's white supremacy.
What?
That's how far this has gone.
I don't know if you guys remember, but during a lot of these, peaceful BLM protests.
The summer of love, baby. The summer of love. Oh, those pleasant memories. fiery, but mostly peaceful.
A lot of protesters were stomping on the American flag, lighting it on fire, just bad flag, bad America. But if
How
you
dare
wipe your
you.
butt with a pride flag, now you're the enemy.
I kind of remember that story. That somebody was what was it, on the subway or something, where suspect who defecated on pride flag at New York City eatery, charged with a hate crime. So definitely don't be defecating in public. But if you are, a pride flag is not the worst place to do it. But a hate crime? A hate crime. A hate crime. Oh no, I'm allergic to avocado toast. Making toast is cooking to me. Well, that's all right. As long as you got some level of culinary experience, you definitely want to level that up. You need to get a meat in there and a sauce. That is the basis of cooking. And now that modern women, us men have to learn how to be the cooks. And of course, it's always been that the best chefs have always been men. But you want to start with knowing how to cook your pasta well. A good sauce. A good sauce can cover up so much, and basic, like how to cook chicken, how to cook steak, basic, just basic stuff. Then once you do that, then you can play around a lot with like spices and stuff, and do all that. But anyway, Zippy says hate crime is code. Government SS agents sue to find random reasons to go after you. Yep, and again, directly analogous to the PSA video that she's watching. That it only works one way. It's not about being fair. It's not about being honest. It's about getting power.
Wipe your butt with a pride flag. Now you're the enemy. You know this country is in trouble when you see state buildings decorated with the pride flag, because the pride flag represents way more than sexual liberation. The pride flag represents division, because if you go to a state building and you see the American flag as well as the pride flag, really the pride flag in this scenario is redundant, because the American flag is supposed to encompass everyone.
Exactly. It's just like if you saw a German flag, or imagine you go to your local government building, whatever it is, something basic, the post office, the DMV, and you see them flying a Ukraine flag out front. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm not saying they are doing that, but I'm saying I definitely would not be surprised. Same here, Zippy. Zig says, I mean, fascism, but seems the same. It is. It's exactly the same. That's why it's still called fascism. That's why it's still called tyranny. That's why we haven't they create new words left, right, and center. But they still know authoritarian, they still know tyranny, and they still use fascism because it's the same that it's always been. They're just not hiding the fact that they're into it now. That's it.
Of all walks of life, of all backgrounds, if you're an American, period.
Unless you're a man, unless you're white.
So when you ask people, where's the straight flag? They're not going to put it up. Why not? Why wouldn't you put up a straight flag? Which, by the way, I don't know what that looks like.
I don't think I want to.
Trust me, I really don't want to see it. But as an example, you don't really see that. It is assumed that if you live in America and you're an American citizen, you support America. Otherwise, I don't know why you're here. But if you have the pride flag, that's assuming that everyone else subscribes to it. For as much diversity and inclusion as it relates to the LGBT community, we see it everywhere. You would think that the world would be more united on this topic.
But you wouldn't think. Why would you think that? You started this sentence with that it's inherently divisive. It's inherently saying, okay, we have the American flag for the Americans, but we also need the pride flag for the... Why would you think that would be uniting? That's expressly and explicitly divisive. So I don't know why you would think that.
turns out the world is getting angrier. And it's because you're propping this thing up and saying you need to support this. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but.
Well done.
Oh, hell no.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm just going to leave that.
It's not going to happen. All right, let's continue.
These men were all fellow Germans when they came here today. Now they were split into rival groups, suspicious of each other, hating each other. They were being swindled, all of them. But the man who was really being fooled was Hans. He was pure German, according to Nazi standards. To him, they promised everything.
He was so good. He would, and again, now replace the good and the bad with the good and the bad that we have now. So the pure German. So now that we could say, I guess her analogy of Black Americans kind of does work better in this situation. So let's ride with it. So they're saying, oh, he's the perfect German citizen, and he's being told that the Jews and the Catholics and this and that, they are all coming after him to ruin his life. Now, if he is somebody who pays attention, I guess I don't really know what paying attention would look like in the 1930s, but whatever the equivalent is to somebody who does more today than just watching MSNBC and or Fox News and or CNN. If you're not going further than that, then how would you have any idea that the people that look like they're in authority, that are treated like they are authorities, how would you know that they're just lying? They're just lying. And Ziggs with hitting the nail on the head. Woke is the most fascist ideology. And that is exactly why we're going over this, because somehow people can see it so easily when we talk about the Nazis and all of that. It's so easy when we talk about Stalin. It's so easy when we talk about any of these big, Mao, anybody. But you ask them to look at their own behavior. And you can spell it out for them. But now fascism has evolved to have a self-cleaning aspect to it, where included with wokeness is the mental gymnastics to make sure that no matter what, you are in the right. You're on the right side of history. But yeah, that's exactly it, buddy. Cook on a stove. Okay. Yeah, stovetop is legit. I mean, toast oven is just toast and stuff. Frozen meat, medium rare. Also use a lot of burger. Yeah, so I mean, like burger meat, you definitely want to go a little more. But I'm saying, like, if you're cooking a steak, you're killing it. You're killing it. Well done? No, man. The reason you need it well done is either because you're not getting a good cut of meat, or you're over or under spicing it. And that's why I'm saying you got to start with a sauce. You get your sauce, then you have a base for your palate, and you know where to go from there. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Trust me. Zix says, I'm hopeless in the kitchen. Take 10 minutes to make 2-minute noodles.
What?
Salt and pepper is spice to me. Are you white? You sound white. And in today's America, no soup for you.
And he fell for it.
So yeah, let's get that whole thing.
They were being swindled, all of them. But the man who was really being fooled was Hans. He was pure German, according to Nazi standards. To him, they promised everything, and he fell for it. That's how Hans became a Superman.
And again, this is how this person became a BLM activist.
Gave him a uniform, and they pumped up his ego. He wasn't just a little fellow out of work anymore. He was a member of the master race. Tons and thousands of...
And again, replace master race with oppressed race, because now the oppressed race is the powerful race. This is how semantic obfuscation works. That's why her analogy works. That black people are told one thing, that they're oppressed, and we the Democrats can fix your issues, and they buy into it. So now they feel empowered because they have something to be oppressed over. This is the mental gymnastics that you have to have in order to understand wokeness.
Of others like you, all playing a sucker's game.
There you go, Lazarus.
They
That's
gambled
cooking.
with other people's liberty, and of course they lost their own. A nation of suckers. Hitler needed these people.
Hitler needed these people. So I'm not going to call Biden Hitler, but you know, just as a stand-in for you know the you know what I mean, the figure that we're talking about. You know, obviously that would be Biden, not because he is as charismatic or influential, but just because he is the one at the head of the snake, putting all of this messaging out. Remember, this whole thing started with how is the messaging? What is the messaging? What is people hearing? What are people hearing? And where is that information coming from? And we can see all the same things. It's the same. It's the exact same.
There was lots of work to be done.
Yeah, we got to dismantle the patriarchy. We got to dismantle systemic racism. We got to, you know, intersectional feminism. Whoa, that's a big one. And yep, exactly. All those people, useful idiots. Do I have a good one for? No. All right. I was gonna say, but.
So the pure-blooded Germans were propped up as being superior.
Again, let's stick with her analogy. So in this situation, it's the Germans as being superior. But in today, it's black people being told that they are oppressed. And because of that, they have the right to, you know, be superior.
Basically, their ego was filled, and Hitler used these people for his agenda. Now, if we look at this through America,
right?
What group of people do you see getting propped up a lot lately?
The transes, and that's why I wanted to use that and replace her example. But you know, I'm just going. She's black, so I'm going off what she's saying. So if there's any other black people that want to come in and tell me what I don't understand about this, please, please come in and let me know. But you know, nuggets can never go wrong with nuggets. Can never go wrong with nuggets. But what? Oh man, I used to work at a place and they had banging wings. It was just like a sports, like a kind of elevated sports bar. It wasn't like a pub, but you know, sports bar and grill type place. And their wings were just fantastic. And what I would do was mix 3 sauces. So I'd get the hot buffalo, the one that was really hot. Use a little bit of that because I don't really like super spicy. A little bit of that, and some garlic parmesan. Then what you do is mix the ranch or blue cheese, doesn't matter, whichever one you like better, in with the sauce and mix it all up. The problem with having the ranch or blue cheese on the side is that you get an uneven dip, and then the sauce gets into the ranch gets into the sauce, and it's not equal. So you want to put it all together, and then you have one beautiful sauce. What did I say? Sauce is the boss. There we go. Sauce is the boss.
Propped up, supported, paraded, protected. They're a protected class.
Paraded. I wonder if she used that word on purpose.
Let me know in the comments if anything is ringing a bell.
There were trade unions to be smashed because unions were organized and might offer resistance. There were many political parties in Germany. These the Nazis destroyed. They were determined to smash every organization where people might band together and resist them. There were Jews to be beaten and killed.
I'll check it out for a
second.
second.
Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse for all the nation's ills. And besides, a Nazi party member could not take over this man's store.
Nope.
So the Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse in the process of silencing political opposition, destroying organizations that could ultimately be a safe haven for people to gather and figure out how to rebel against the Nazi.
She's long-winded. I know she's cutting, but I'm making big and trying not to cut her off. But and now I'm fucking forgetting what she said. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Yeah, now I forgot what she was saying. Come on. Oh, okay. So they were told the Jews were.
So the Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse.
So again, then we have the fact that LGBT or Black people or minorities in general, whichever one you want to plug in there, that they're not powerful. And so they're a convenient excuse to do all of this stuff to put down those who are powerful, would be the straight white male. One of us. All right.
In the process of silencing political opposition,
AKA straight white males, and doesn't count. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or if you're Black or if you're trans or if you're gay, because if you're conservative, then you're a straight white male.
destroying organizations that could ultimately be a safe haven for people to gather and figure out how to rebel against the Nazi regime.
Kind of like how all the news corporations have turned into what they've turned into. Before I was saying this idea of looking into things back in the day, and I don't know if that was really a realistic thing because there was only so many sources to get stuff. But today, certainly, the idea of the freedom of the press wasn't. I don't know at what point the major news networks were got in bed with the government, but it certainly happened sometime between then and now, and they're just using their agenda, and or they're taking their agenda, using the people who are easy marks. Again, this random white dude who might live in a trailer park and doesn't have a job because he can't get hired because he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because now you have not only a problem, but you have an enemy. And we, the government, are here to help.
Let me continue a little bit more.
Hundreds of Catholics were put in jail because the Catholic Church had strength and could resist the Nazi drive for power.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for right there. I've said this many, many times before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're someone who gets annoyed whenever I mention God in my videos,
Hello, yes, speaking to me.
I hate to break it to you, but you will never fully understand the tactics and strategies that Nazis, fascists, communists, and Marxists use in order to achieve power if you keep avoiding the God conversation.
I'm not avoiding the God conversation at all. That is a complete, and obviously she's not talking about me, but that's the conflation. You're avoiding the God conversation. No. My name is the Indian Jesus. I'm here for it. The conversation I continue to have over and 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 over again and over again is that you don't need the belief in order to live the values. You don't need the belief in to be able to understand anything that she's saying. This is saying when Karl Marx was asked what his objective was, he said to dethrone God and destroy capitalism. Okay, yeah, so that's a bad dude. That's a bad thing to say. We don't want to destroy capitalism for sure, and I don't think. I'm down for dethroning God, but not capitalism. There's some nuance there. So to say that, oh well, you have to believe in God, otherwise you're not going to understand anything. That's not how thinking works, baby girl. That's not how it works. Hey, we got Indie Film Channel member in the building. What is good? Welcome to the party. Said fascism then and now has always been an ideal of the left. Super facts. Super facts. And it's crazy that, again, the people who will like shout from the rooftops about how horrible historical fascism was, they don't see that they're doing the exact same thing. It's crazy. Welcome to the party, brother. Hey, we got the Camcast in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. Camcast says you must bend to the will of God, then you'll truly understand fascism.
What?
Exactly. Like, what even is that? What even is that? That's literally what she's saying, and I'm right there with you, hating the communists without the belief. So that whole sentence that you just said is wrong. Welcome to the party, brother. Open says we have to offer structure and community without dogma. Exactly. And that is a very difficult thing to do. That is an uphill battle. That is something that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of conscious effort. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that most people probably don't have the willingness to build that structure and that community. But I do believe there's enough of us that are willing to do that, and we lead by example. Then all the useful idiots will just follow what's easier. Oh, we believe all of these values, and it helps our community and our society, but we don't have to pretend that there's a God in the sky? Sign me up. Zippy says the Nazis use this. There he is. Where you been, buddy boy? All right, I'm gonna give you one just because I love you and I miss you. Did y'all just see that? Maybe he's on one. Maybe he's on one. But I just get regular kibble one. And he turned his nose up. We've been spoiling this motherfucker. All right. Oh my god, this asshole. I think he might be freaked out about something because usually he just sits there. But anyway, Zippy says the Nazis use the same rules the religion used and abuse God to RP and pillage to be number one. All about power. Power. That's all it's about. Lars Maroon said, my city got a new rainbow pride bus. Oh, wow. Yay. Certain drivers don't really want to drive it, but they don't have a choice. Why? Like, why is that? Why does that need to be a thing? Why does that need to be a thing? Like, I get it. It's not that big of a deal, but that's the problem is that it wasn't that big of a deal, but you kept pushing it further and further and further and further. And now you're making tuck-friendly bathing suits. It's not just that it's a rainbow. It's everything that you have made that rainbow stand for. Rune says, I think fascism can be left, right, or center and can be done of any race or religion. Absolutely agree. It's just typically, not always, comes from the left. You have to drive. No straight bus for you. Oh, man. ZB is saying, oh, are you guys talking amongst yourselves? Oh, still talking some food. Yeah, if you can get a good taco salad that's less salad and more taco, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. All right. Where was we? So listen, yeah. Listen to the first part of what she's saying. And then again, how is this not exactly what you're railing against in your video? That you have to be part of this dogma. That's the whole thing that we're saying, no, don't do that.
Because the Catholic...
Come on.
That's what I was waiting for right there. I've said this many, many times before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're someone who gets annoyed whenever I mention God in my videos, I hate to break it to you, but you will never fully understand the tactics and strategies.
I just can't understand it.
That Nazis, fascists, communists, and Marxists use in order to achieve power if you keep avoiding the God conversation.
And obviously, we just went over how that's completely just not true. And, I don't get triggered because I'm like, oh, how dare you? I don't like God, so you can't talk about God. No, I get triggered because you are ruining your own message, which happens to be very similar to my message. It's just without the God part. There's so many more people that you would reach. So many more people. But you don't want to do the work to actually explain out why the Bible verses are what you are following and just say, well, the Bible says it, so that's it. She get COVID. What's worse, driving a gay bus or having COVID? Zig says she's supposed to be a liberal because her speech contradicts that. No, that's exactly my point, is that she's pretty based. She's pretty based, but she shoves this religion stuff into everywhere. This is even from the Bible. This is from the Naked Communist. So I don't know how to break this to you, Gothix, but that's not in the Bible. Get triggers? What? I got the spirit of it.
It's literally the biggest missing piece of the puzzle that you keep disregarding just because it sounds weird.
Well, what is that piece? What is that piece? You said it's the biggest piece that you keep disregarding because it sounds weird. What sounds weird? The entire story? Yes, it does sound weird because it doesn't make sense. But what is it that I'm disregarding? I've fully engaged with that story, and by its merits, have dismissed it.
I don't want to talk about Sky Daddy. I don't want to talk about him.
All day, honey. Come on over. All day I will talk about your Sky Daddy.
Logically, it doesn't make any sense. Like, as a detective, you would think that a detective would want to look at all of the evidence and then critically think about the evidence before they form a conclusion. But no, the detectives on YouTube say, I don't want to watch this, unsubscribing.
So let me ask you something, especially those of you who are conservative atheists. Do you feel like she's speaking to you? Do you feel like that even if you agree with what she has said up to now, that she doesn't have a smug moral high ground, the exact type of thing in the video? This cancels out everything you're saying, because now you are trying to implement this dogmatic ideology. How is that any different than saying Jews are bad? How is that any different? It's not.
All right, fine. Unsubscribe. Best of luck to you. But let me elaborate on why this is so important. Someone who is a true Bible-believing Christian is going to be...
I do like that she separates that. A true Bible-believing Christian. That's the second time she's mentioned, like, people who just call themselves Christians, which is, more where I have an issue. But if you're going to have that discussion and talk about the people who actually do try to follow the religion, I think that's a much better way to have the conversation, because it's pointed that way. And certainly I would say if you are a practicing Christian, that is going to bolster your argument for Christianity or dogma or religion in general, than if you're just somebody who calls yourself Christian and you don't actually do anything. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't hold water. It just doesn't hold water. I don't need to believe in the Bible to agree with everything you've said so far. And now all you're doing is making fun of me and people like me. For what? For what? Who is that helping? To make yourself feel good? Oh, I'm going to dunk on the atheists that I don't understand. It's certainly not to try and help people better understand the message. Even though you said you have to, but, Good one. Oh, man. Yeah, the hypocrisy is, it's scary. Love that. The BBCs. That's going to be a channel thing. I'm starring that. Do not let me forget about the BBC. Oh man, that's hilarious. Zippy says, feels more like religious humor to just make a silly dig at non-believers. Giving YouTube engagement, some flame content is silly fun. It's more like religious humor just to make a silly dig at non. I don't disagree with you. But the fact is, number one, she's wrong. She's saying incorrect information. Number two, she is enacting the same behavior that she is saying that is bad in the PSA. So, like, your entire argument falls apart when you say this is a necessary element, and I show you that I get the argument without that necessary element. This goes back to the blue rock thing. If you say you can never find a blue rock, then all I have to do is find one blue rock. I don't have to look at all the rocks. I don't have to worry about, well, you just are scared to talk about rocks. No, I just know of one blue rock. That's it. That's it. So let's see. What was she saying about the BDCs?
Important. Someone who is a true Bible believing Christian is going to be less susceptible to falling for stuff like this. And it's because, as I
Are we serious? You're telling me that somebody who believes in a story that has no evidence is going to be less susceptible to falling for anything? That's, again, not how logic works, sweetie. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. You think people who believe things without evidence are less susceptible to falling for stuff like this or otherwise? Just think about that for a second. The irony, this lack of self-awareness. And where does it come from? The entitlement to think, oh, I've got all the right answers because I go to the Bible, and in the Bible, it tells this, that, and the other. So I must be right. And you silly secular atheist. Get out of here. First of all, that's not Christ-like behavior, ma'am. And second of all, you are wrong. You are being just like the guy who is yelling, if you don't get the Jews and the Catholics and the Freemasons, that you're doing the exact same thing, Gothix. You are doing the exact same thing. How do you guys not see that? All of you Christian conservatives, how do you not see you are doing the exact same thing? I mean, come on. Do better. Do better. I can't believe she really said that.
less susceptible to falling for stuff like this. And it's because, as I said, if you're a true Bible believing Christian, that means that you are keeping God's commands, which isn't good for Nazis or for communists, because
just switch the words around. Isn't that what we've been doing the whole time? Let's get the actual quote. It means that you are keeping the Nazis' commands,
which isn't good.
Which isn't good for the Catholics or for the Jews or
because
the Freemasons. You can literally swap out the words. This is what is called speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You can't say that this dogma is bad because it's dogmatic, but this dogma is okay because it's the right dogma.
What?
That's just not how logic works. Yep. Spot on. Zippy says, most BBCs are of the silent majority. They keep their heads down and defer issues to someone else. Prayer is moot without action. If you follow, do as Christ. There you go. There you go. That's how it should be if you are going to be a BBC. Hey, shout out to Lord and Rune. Yeah, he heard that. You saw him pop up. All right. Even I'm doing this for you, you're supposed to only get these with $10 up. Because you're being a little brat, I'm going to let you off one day. And every single super chat is going to get a peanut butter banana one. But only for today. All right? All right. I was going to say, if you turn his nose up with that, I'm throwing him out the door. But all right. Thank you. And of course, that makes you the sponsor of the stream. Thank you. Let me get right back in here and fix that banner for you.
Communists and Nazis and fascists, they want to be in command of you, but the Bible says to obey God as opposed to man.
Obey the Nazis as opposed to your own logical thinking.
So,
oh wait, what was that Bible verse I missed there?
Oh, if we look at this from the perspective, they want to be in command of you, but the Bible says to obey God as opposed to man.
Oh, so it's just from Acts, saying Acts 5:29. We must obey God rather than a man. Okay. I'm willing to have that conversation with you, Gothix. Why? Because it says it in the Bible. Okay. Why should I care about what's in the Bible? That's the end of your conversation. That is literally the end of your conversation. You cannot have an argument because your argument doesn't hold water.
And so if we look at this from the perspective of America, I'll give you an example. It's probably an example that most people are aware of by now. Christian business owners. So if you are, let's say, a baker and you have a bake shop and you are a devout Christian, you follow the word of God, a gay couple comes into your shop.
Shout out again to Lars and Rune for sponsoring the stream. Let's get some others here real quick. Zippy says she got that denial and overprotection to her dogma. That's how they are. Anybody who's dogmatic is that way. That's how LGBT people are about their dogma. That's how racist people are about their dogma. It's all the same. It's all the same. Dogmatic thinking is bad. Camcast says Christians aren't susceptible to fascism because I'm one. That's pretty much the argument.
Bingo.
That's pretty much. No, thank you, sir. Thank you. Jeff Pearson says a rule I try to live by is that you have to earn the right to speak into people's lives. That looks different in different circumstances, but it comes from a place of humility. Oh, I love that. Humility is definitely something that is missing from all of everybody, myself included, but, at least I'm aware of it and trying to work on it, unlike Gothix over here, who has no idea that she's like, this dogma is bad because it's dogmatic, but also this dogma is good because it's...
What? Oh, hell no.
Zippy says to Camcast, well, when you fascist in charge, you think your fascism is not fascism. Yep. The problem with the Bible and the Constitution is interruption. Interruption ruins everything. How do you mean? Can you expand on that a little bit? Because it sounds like I agree, but I'm not really sure what you're saying. All right, let's go back a little bit here. What are we talking about?
A devout Christian, you follow the word of God. A gay couple comes into your shop and this couple says, we're getting married, we need a wedding cake. If you're truly following and obeying God, then you know that marriage is a covenant between a man, a woman, and God. Not
Is it though?
Because I'm pretty sure we changed the laws in America. I thought we were talking about America and not religion. But in America, same-sex couples can get married. Now, in your own mind, in your own home, you may not agree that that is a legitimate marriage, but you're allowed to believe that. That's fine. That doesn't make it not true. Gay people who got married are still married because that's the law.
Not 2 men and 2 women. So what's been happening is a lot of Christian business owners are being sued, and a lot of states have made laws forcing these business owners to compromise on their faith. And this is a way of targeting Christians in a very indirect manner under the guise of the diversity and inclusion Trojan horse.
So again, using the flip around of just plugging different things in. You're saying that, well, Christians want to do or live this way, and they are against that. But the larger society doesn't necessarily have a reason to follow that. There's nothing, and you guys know how, anti LGBT kid stuff I am. But let's be honest, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if gay people get married. But she does. Okay, for what reason? Well, it says it in the Bible. Oh, a Bible again. Okay, do you have any actual, that's your axiom? Do you have anything that should tell me that, yes, in fact, the Bible is the truth, or the Bible is something that I should be following? They never do. Oh, interpretation. Okay. The problem with the Bible and the Constitution is the interpretation. Interpretation ruins everything. Yeah, I think I agree. But the difference is that we allow the Constitution to be a living document. That's what amendments are. The Bible is just, this is it. We're done. We figured out everything. And I'm not saying we should be, changing the Constitution around all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's not dogmatic in that sense that we are allowed to question it. We are allowed to change it. Try changing the Bible without being the Pope. I mean, Catholic Church has changed the Bible a ton, but that's neither here nor there. Zig said, "Oh yeah, great movie, definitely with it's a Kevin Smith movie. Jay and Silent Bob. Definitely check that out." Camcast says, "This reminds me of the time I was in a band with a Hindu. He kept trying to force me into the line of thinking that the crystals he had powers." And don't you think that if maybe he was willing to actually have a conversation from the position of not automatically I'm right, and if you don't believe me, you're bad? Who knows? Maybe you would have been open-minded enough to be like, I don't know, but can't hurt to keep a little crystal thingy or put a crystal necklace or necklace or something like that. But because he tried to force it down your throat, you were like, hell no. Oh wait, where is it? I just added that one.
Oh hell no.
Jeff says the government has no business being involved in marriage. That's like asking the king for permission. Bingo. I love that. That is exactly like asking the king for permission. Yep. They kicked you out for not believing. You know what? Blessing in disguise, brother. Blessing in disguise. You don't want to be. Imagine if you guys blew up and you were touring the world with these people. Blessing in disguise. I don't know why I can't talk today. Hey, we're back on the laptop. Welcome back. Zippy says the Bible is as mistranslated as the Constitution. Woo! Do we agree or disagree? Are we with Zippy on this one? The Bible is as mistranslated as the Constitution. I'm going to tell you what I think, but let's make that a poll. Yes, copy pasta. There we go. Agree or disagree? Ask your community. I ask you. Do you agree or disagree? Melted by Media says, were the crystals pink kryptonite? Maybe. Power crystals sounds more like New Age. Good one. I like that. All right. So where were we? Yeah. Hypocrisy, obviously, but other than that.
Faith. And this is a way of targeting Christians in a very indirect manner under the guise of the diversity and inclusion Trojan horse and pairing that with the pride community. And it all starts by feeding someone's ego constantly. And we've been doing this for years.
Kind of like telling you there's somebody in the sky who loves you, and no matter what, you can't be wrong because they have a plan for your life. And even if you do mess up, you just have to say sorry and they will always forgive you. Kind of like that.
All these pride parades and these drag shows, and now this preferential treatment of trans rights. It's sort of building this narrative that the pride community is untouchable. They're unstoppable. And that's going to keep happening, by the way.
Yup.
I hate to break it to you. If you are a believer in Christ and you read your Bible, then you know what.
Oh, Jesus. All right. If you read your Bible, since that Zippy's thing covered it, I have not seen what this said yet. So when we read this, we are looking for the part that is not applicable unless you have a belief in the truth claims of the Bible. So let's see. So this is from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. In the last days, there will come times of difficulty. Okay. Yes, agree. Don't know what that has to do with God, but okay. For people will be lovers of self, proud, without self-control, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Hey, guess what? I completely agree. and I don't believe in God. So you're wrong. Again, honey. Zippy says, people think the stories in the Bible are the same as the 10 Commandments and not stories of their time. Is that not, in a way, a misinterpretation? Yup. Yeah. People treat it as a science textbook. You ain't wrong, brother. You ain't wrong. This is why I she does live streams, so I wanted to use her content because just when I found her, she was just starting to get into religion. And so I was like, you're saying all the right things. I really like everything that you stand for, but this idea that you have to get to those solutions, those conclusions through the Bible is just not right. It's just not right. And it's not because I'm scared of having the Bible conversation or the God conversation. Obviously, she wasn't speaking to me. She doesn't know I exist. But there's a lot of us out there. And when you speak like that, you are pushing people away. And if you're saying that there's people who will be, swollen with conceit and all of this, then isn't it better that, they're not going to believe what you believe anyway. They're not going to believe what you believe anyway. So isn't it better that they at least live the values that you do as a Christian? Obviously. Zig said signs of overprojecting, overreaction, blaming you unjustly. We had that one. Living in a distorted reality, playing the victim, ruining your mental health, changing you, and weaponizing projection to further project. Well said, brother. Well said.
What's down the pipeline, all right? So just keep the faith, stay in the word, everything's going to be okay. But yeah, it's going to keep getting worse.
So Zippy says, gotta remember, every other Christian sect emphasizes slightly different nuances of the Bible. Baptists try and reinvent the wheel to better days and awe the fill of the coffers. You lost me at the end. You lost me at the end. Brother, just take... There's 7 of us here. Just take the extra 2 seconds to read what you wrote and fix it before you press send. I promise I will read it. I promise. You're not lost in a sea of hundreds of thousands of people. There's 7 people here right now. You're good. Just calm down and spell check.
Catholic Church had strength and could resist the Nazi drive for power. They had split the nation into 100 pieces. And
split the nation into 100 pieces? Sounds kind of like adding a billion different genders.
And one by one, they had destroyed the pieces. Over these broken pieces, the Nazis rode into power. One party, one nation, one religion.
One rainbow flag. So, Ziggs, was it Ziggs or was it Zippy? Sorry, you guys are both Z's. I forget. Zippy said, the Bible is as mistranslated as the Constitution, and 85% of you agree. Okay, fair enough. I would disagree. I think the Bible is way more mistranslated. Just because like the Dead Sea Scrolls and like nobody speaks Aramaic. And then if you think about the actual interpretation of the events that are spoken about and interpreting those events before we even put it to paper, then you could have a perfect translation from day one to today. But the interpretation of what happened is what got recorded. And nobody was talking about anything, Jesus Christ, anything, until like a decade after he died. So it's not like the people who were there and knew this Jesus were like taking notes and vlogging or anything. Somehow, 10 years later, people were like, "Hey, remember that guy that died and then came back from hell? Yeah, maybe, or from hell, from heaven. Maybe there's something to look into there." Makes a lot of sense. That's how people usually are, right? Zippy says the Bible is a product of its time.
Bingo!
Thoroughly amalgamated from many different sources, translations, and languages. All coalesced through a harsh and mean Catholic regime. try and reinvent the wheel today. Oh yeah, okay. What? Oh no, I don't. What's a coffer? But this one, totally agree with them. This one, okay. So, what is to try and reinvent the wheel to daze and awe to fill the coffers? What are coffers? Then again, brother, just use 2 different comments. See how you have 4 in a row here? I'll get it. I'm pretty smart.
One party, one nation, one religion. Did you hear that?
Isn't that what you're pushing for? Is that not exactly what you are pushing for? Sounds like it. And if it's not what you're pushing for, then far be it from me to care about whether you speak about God or not, but it's just a comment on how ineffective it is to do so. I'm legitimately confused as if she's making a comment on the Nazis or if she's giving her position on all of this.
One nation, one religion.
They just said it, but now look at her say the same thing. I'm not sure if it's to be like, oh, the Nazis said this, or it's like, you know, you're actually kind of onto something.
One party, one nation, one religion. Did you hear that?
I did. What did you think? What do you think about it?
New world order, one world currency, one world religion. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it all sounds terrible. So why are you pushing for it? Blatant hypocrisy. Oh, okay. I never heard that before. Thank you. Learn something new every day. Melded My Media sounds a lot like the politicians and media splitting the parties. So we all disagree over little things. Trust no one among our neighbors. With this, the globalists will take control. Yep. And it all comes from dogmatic thinking. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many other ways I can demonstrate it. But this is just a perfect. I mean, look at the smug look. The smug look on her face. How is that different than the smug look the LGBT people get? Like, well, you know that there's a it's not a binary. There's a spectrum. Am I wrong? Please let me know if I'm wrong.
Sound familiar?
These men had.
Oh, that's it. So no comment. Just right over her head. No realization that specifically exactly what she's saying is bad. Perfectly lines up with what she's doing. One nation, one direction. Globalists are just nationalists on a larger scale. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I think I can agree with that.
Won their struggle for power.
I just need to stop again. I can't believe that she didn't just look at it again. It's so crazy that this is how
one part
nation pieces the
like no context. What would you think if you were just watching from right here? If you just clicked in and all you saw was this,
Nazis rode into power. One party, one nation, one religion.
One party, one nation, one religion. Did you hear that?
would you know if she was saying that's a good thing or a bad thing just based on that footage? How could you? So that's why I expected for her to, kind of explain. Come on, so for her to kind of explain something as to what she meant, and then she just moved on because it's just like, well, obviously the Nazis are bad. They were all about one religion.
What?
Thank you, Coffer. I'm learning, guys. Thank you.
New world order, one world currency,
Bingo.
one world religion.
Bingo.
Did you hear that? Sound familiar?
These men had won.
Yeah, in the video you are doing right now.
They now ruled all of Germany. But still they had trouble with their oldest and most persistent enemy, the truth. They found that truth does not die easily. And
no, it does not. It does not. Unfortunately, neither does religion. But we're working on it.
So they decided to abolish truth. one great source.
Oh no! Oh no! That's mean. Oh, worse than Rolo. Worse than Rolo. Oh man. Six is on fire tonight. Stay out of Zig's way. He's on fire tonight.
of truth is literature. So they burned books, 20 million of them. Many great men in Germany who were spokesmen for truth were jailed or driven from their country.
And so, you know, we often get the book burning thing. Conservatives are burning books. So let's just see. Can we buy genderqueer right now? Because I was told that was banned. But oh wait, it's right here. I can get it on Kindle for free. For free. I don't even need to pay for it. What about just the tip? That because we definitely banned that one. We definitely banned that, right? Like, come on. Oh, nope, right there. Okay. What about Nick and Andrew? Or maybe I've been saying the wrong name. Nick and oh, is it Nick and Charlie? I think it is Nick and Charlie. Maybe not. Okay. But, you know, you get the point. We definitely, for sure, can get the gay BCs. Boom. Right there. $8.99. So who's really burning books? Who's really burning books? And when we talk about burning books, we're talking about getting rid of information. And it's obviously not this side. Hey, we got Frodo in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So the straw man is real today. Super facts. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'm already seeing it. I already like it. There we go. There we go. Modern problems, modern solutions.
Teachers, writers, scientists. Education was discouraged. In 5 years, college attendance dropped 53%.
Do you guys remember the lockdowns?
Lockdowns. When she says lockdowns, what is it that she could be referring to?
The COVID lockdowns. You remember that? The illiteracy rate in America was already bad, but then it kept getting worse because kids weren't getting an education. And then eventually the schools reopened, but something was very different. And again, to my ignorance of not being politically awakened to all of this stuff, I didn't realize that the public education system has really been brainwashing people for generations.
No shit, Sherlock. So you're new to religion, you're new to politics, yet for some reason I should listen to what you have to say about these things because you have a dog collar on? Because you're black and you're conservative? Because you're a woman and you're conservative? Because you have demonstrated zero reason for anybody to take you seriously. Because you're saying a lot of good things, but then you're underlining them with the worst possible reasoning.
It's just more overt now. It's more out in the open. And so what are kids learning about these days in school? Gender identity.
And she's going to do it again. Yes, that is terrible. That's bad. We just looked up the books that were not burned that you can still definitely buy and that people are lying about being burned. But then she's going to come back to something. Well, we need God.
Sexuality, pleasure. Forget about skills and things that are going to equip them to be successful in the real world once they become an adult. No. We're learning about being bisexual. So it's really the equivalent.
It's binary, non-binary. Thank you very much. But again, completely agree with that part. Let's see how she ruins it.
Of book burning. Again, not doing it outright, but just replacing actual education with indoctrination once again.
Well, Elijah, you're talking about that one clip where she repeats the Nazi thing and you're like, wait. Are you for this or against this? Like, it should be very, 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 very clear when you're showing a documentary about the Nazis that people understand which side you're on. Just a tip.
Under the...
Separate from just the tip, which is a book that you can still buy.
the Trojan horse of diversity and inclusion. The other thing that this guy...
Wait, I missed that. What did you say?
Actual education with indoctrination, once again, under the Trojan horse of diversity and inclusion.
So, like Sunday school, right? That's what you just described was Sunday school. One more time.
But just replacing actual education.
So actual education, which we would call science,
with indoctrination.
God says it, so it must be true.
Once again, under the Trojan horse of diversity and inclusion.
So the diversity and inclusion is with the leftist stuff, but that's relevant. That's relevant to that. Whereas this, it's being on the high ground. It's right there. It's right there. And I'm very curious to see what the comments say, because I'm almost guaranteed sure, because she's saying, you know, exactly that what Zig is expressing here. I think a lot of people, you know, like the message and don't have an issue with religion, and they don't see how the religious aspect is ruining their entire message. The irony is that I, as the atheist, want to say, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. But the Christians will say, well, either believe in God or you can't know anything, which is literally throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Zibby said she's completely ignoring the logical faults in her religion. Yep. And see, it would be totally fine. It would be totally fine if you're like, you know, willing to address those things. And be like, and you know, saying that, how can you talk about indoctrination? How can you say the word indoctrination in a video when you're promoting religion of any kind? Maybe you, Gothix, relate to religion, but how do you think most people across the entire earth, regardless of religion, get into their religion? It's not an academic, intellectual journey that they go on. It's just something that's part of their life because their parents bring them to church or synagogue or temple or whatever. That's indoctrination. That's what the word means.
The other thing that this guy mentioned is how a lot of brilliant minds were persecuted and locked up. Why? Again, it's because the truth kept resurfacing. They had to stop the truth from getting out. Now,
I guarantee you, this is going to happen again. You know, as we're saying, history repeats itself. And so we've been talking about the pendulum swinging back and forth and how far to the left it is right now. And eventually it's going to swing back. And now, give it 5 years. 5 years. It will be the left again, just like it was in the 90s and the early 2000s, that are saying, oh, you're afraid of the truth. Because right now, the silly things that we believe, that, you know, all people have silly beliefs. And if we want to group that and we want to pit the silly belief of a sky daddy versus the silly belief that a male can turn into a female, well, one of them is a little bit more directly harmful to society, and it's a little bit more imminent. So we definitely want to focus on the worst dogma. But what else are we going to focus on when we you know, slay that dragon? There ain't going to be nothing left but your stupid dogma. Then he says, when fascists take over, you see a ban of high school debate. Education becomes indoctrination, pushing people away from higher education. Yep. Lars and Rune said Amazon banned selling 6 old. Actually, I don't believe that is true. I'm pretty sure the whatever, I don't know if it's the publishing house or Dr. Zeus themselves, I believe they were the ones who preemptively said, well, you know, we wrote this stuff in our past and we want to take it down, which I don't have a problem with. It's your intellectual property. You do whatever you want with it. Because I mean, fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure nobody forced them to take it down. I'm pretty sure that they wanted to, you know, get virtue signal points by saying, look how amazing we are. We're going to, you know, take down anything that has anything to do with supposed racism. And everybody's like, oh my God, Dr. Zeus is so amazing. I think. I'm not positively sure, but I'm pretty sure. Zippy says, I'd argue that religion is academics. You learn the religion like a form of study, only it lacks the questioning, competition, and science seen in most academics.
Bingo!
That's it. That's it. Nail on the head, brother. Nail on the head. That is exactly it. It's like learning anything else, except you can't question it. And whenever that is, whether it's religion, whether it's Nazism, whether it's transgenderism, whether it's anything else, it is all dogma and it is all bad and wrong. Not necessarily the ideas themselves, the dogmatic attachment to them. You have to be able to question your beliefs, your positions, whatever they are. And when you are starting from a place of, no, I know God exists, or no, I know a male can turn into a female, then you are guaranteeing that there's no middle ground, because you are creating a zero-sum game. And I know you think you're right. Maybe you are. Maybe Christianity is exactly as it is in the Bible. But doing this is not helping. Multi Media said, sound like Balloon Boy's dad. Search the truth, my truth shirt. He was rocking with no sleeve. Yep, it's my truth. You got a truth. It's my truth. For me. All right, let's get back into this.
Now, back in 1947, we didn't have the internet, right? We didn't have all of the avenues of media that we have today. But what do you see? You see a lot of brilliant minds who were only a few years ago supported, respected, but now they're censored. They're deplatformed. They're villainized as a fascist, as a anti-science Nazi bigot.
Kind of like how Marilyn Manson was silenced as some type of crazy this, that, or the other. That was the religious right that was fighting against all of rock and roll and all of hip hop and all of this because it was demonic, and they said so. So must be true. Must be true. If the Bible says it, it must be true. If the trans activists say it, it must be true. Hey, we got Shine On Bull in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Shine On Bull says people will die on any hill they convince themselves of. Humans are pure conviction. How do you pierce the I've only read this word. I don't know how to pronounce it. The fugue? Pierce the fugue? Is that how you say it? Fugue? But good question. And I mean, that is the entire point of this channel, is to take discussions, video, whatever we can, and point out that, you know, what you're saying is in fact true. And even if I am subject to these same biases, and you are subject to these same biases, as long as you pay attention to them and you're aware of them and you're actively trying to fight against them, you will win. Your human mind is very strong. The only way we can have a society, a civilization, is toning down the instinctual drives, or some of them, that we have. That's it. But you have to be aware. You have to be aware. And if you're not aware, it's just not going to work. Well, welcome to the party, Shine On Bull. Any Film says Tipper Gore was behind all of that on the government side, and she is a Democrat. Yeah, but I mean, it was the Christianity. I'm not saying it was the specifically the Republicans. I'm saying it was Christianity. She was doing that because of Christianity. I don't care whether she was a Democrat. We believe in the uniparty here. So I mean, Democrat, Republican, especially in the 90s, one and the same. Zippy says, do you think fairness doctrine helped to limit propaganda? I feel more information does help reduce propaganda. Yeah, I completely agree. Shine a light. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. The marketplace of ideas must exist in order for the best ideas to rise. In order for the bad ideas to be taken down, we have to be free to be able to criticize and challenge the ideas that are put out there. But whether it's trans or whether it's the Bible, you are not allowed to do that. According to them, of course. I'm going to question it all. But she thinks that because she has on one side the awareness of the dogmatic thinking, that she's just right. Instead of realizing, oh, all of these people are very dogmatic in their thinking. I wonder if that's a human thing, and maybe I'm doing the same thing. Any film says, all right, play back the tape. You said the right, so that's when I take issue. But yes, I'm sure there were people on both sides, but it wasn't something led by the right. Okay, fair enough. So I'll take that back. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't specifically the religious right. It was religious people. It was the political, the religious, and what's it? There's like, I'm trying to think of like the equivalent of religion and politics as like social and economics. You have socio-economical. With the politicization. You know what I mean, though. But the politicized religion from both sides. You are correct. It was both sides for sure. But point being, it is the religion for sure.
And it's for the same reason that they're doing in this film, or that they've done throughout history, is they don't want the truth coming out. So they have to make sure that they silence these people and they persecute these people and they create enough fear amongst the population so that people who actually believe in the truth will be so afraid to stand up for the truth.
I mean, I feel like I'm just going to be repeating myself over and over and over and over and over. If every time she says something, I'm like, hey, sweetie, that applies to your ideology. But I mean, we got to point it out. We got to point it out. Zippy says the fairness doctrine just forced mainstream media to have an opposing view to whatever view they are discussing. I mean, I don't think that the mainstream media has, you know, when we talk about the mainstream media, you know what we were talking about, like these big legacy channels, as well as the newspapers that have been co-opted by all of that stuff. Because it's on the right, that is on the right and left as well. But I don't think anything can fix mainstream media at this point. I do think it is generally a better idea to want to have more ideas, more diverse ideas represented. Not diversity in terms of skin color, but diversity in terms of thought.
It was forbidden to listen to a British radio program.
I was forbidden to listen to a secular person because they were wrong.
Read an American newspaper. In Nazi Germany, you had to get your information from Dr. Goebbels.
In America, you have to get your jab information from Fauci. You have to get your trans information from a gender-affirming doctor. It's the same shit. It's the same shit.
He knew what was best for you.
Yeah, a good point in the film here as well. The fairness doctrine was an attempt from the left to shut down conservatives on AM radio, particularly Rush Limbaugh. So that's why I'm not too familiar with the actual specific, terminology that's in the doctrine. I'm more just kind of agreeing with the sentiment that more information does help reduce propaganda. Generally. Because there's just so much out there that how do you know what to believe anymore? But generally, more information is better than less information. But what is she bugging out about here?
It was forbidden to listen to a British radio program or read an American newspaper. In Nazi Germany, you had to get your information from Dr. Goebbels. He knew what was best for you.
Okay, so Lars and Maroon has some further information, a fact check. The publisher did stop making any new of these Zeus books, but Amazon also refused to sell any of them that they still had, or link to any private seller of them, which offer. Okay, so it was both of them. We're both right. Yay! We both get to be right. All right. All right, let's see. Yeah, what is she bugging out about here?
My name is Dr. Fauci, and you must listen to me.
My name is God, and you must listen to me. How do you not see it? How do you not see it?
And if you do not...
Finish that sentence. Finish that sentence. And if you do not what? Oh, you can't go get a haircut. You can't go to dinner. What about if you do not listen to me? Oh, eternal hellfire and punishment. Yeah, you're convincing me. You're convincing me. And again, the smug laugh to not even think that you need to finish the sentence.
Fauci, and you must listen to me. And if you do not, if you don't, I will turn you.
Why am I speaking Spanish now?
I shall send you to the concentration camps. I mean, re-education. I mean, quarantine camps.
I mean, hell. Literally hell.
That was a cross between German and Cuban. I'm not sure.
Did you get your booster?
I need to work on my accent.
True. Zippy says, no doubt, but you have to process the fairness doctrine started in 1949. Wow, I didn't know that. As far as neocon radio, they should have just had more opposing views on, but no, it was more propaganda silliness. So I'm definitely not up on, I'm going to defer to indie film on AM radio. I was never a fan of AM radio, but makes sense.
All right, but seriously, we see Dr. Fauci and the CDC getting propped up as the
We see God getting propped up.
ultimate authority.
Do I need to say anything?
For information regarding the pandemic.
Any information regarding life.
And so what happened to a lot of people who only a few years prior were respected members of the science and medical community? Nope, you're science deniers now. You're fascists. They're just throwing all of these names at these people.
Like heathen or secular has now become like a slur. But yeah, go on, honey.
And deplatforming them to villainize them as crazy people. And it's the same.
You mean the same way you just said that I cannot understand what's wrong with fascism unless I believe in God?
Thing that's happened or has happened throughout history, where you had to go to one source of information.
Another one.
One source of information. What's another situation or a group where there's only one source of information that I know it has something to do with this conversation?
Another one.
Also, there's a reason why the Chinese government, they block out a lot of the internet. The citizens have to use VPN in order to use a lot of the apps that we have access to.
But the Bible, as written originally, is still completely intact, right? It's not, there was no books taken out or put in. So, oh yeah, okay.
Why is that? It's to control the flow of information. So in the same way that the media says, don't listen to this other media outlet, because
in the same way Gothix says, don't listen to that media outlet, listen to God.
They're spreading misinformation. Is the same thing happening in China. It's the same thing happening over here.
At least she said it. All right, she admitted it. At least she admitted it. Let's listen again. She specifically said it's the same thing happening over here.
Media says, don't listen to this other media outlet because they're spreading misinformation. Is the same thing happening in China. It's the same thing happening over here in this
there you go.
Video that we're watching.
In this video that we're watching. Yup.
Bingo.
Beast. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. Zippy says, I listened to O'Reilly for 5 years. Limbo for a couple Limbo. Limbo for a couple years, and but I don't know why I can't read. Okay. I liked local talk radio more than anything. It was more simple and to the point. Local people, local focused. Even if a tri-state area. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was into politics, I definitely would be there. But, you know, by the time I got into politics, it was podcasts. So I just never, had a need for AM radio.
Watching. So let's continue. I hope you guys enjoyed my really bad role play, but let's get.
Bro, there's a pause button. You can just pause the stream and I'll be right here.
Keep going.
The church was one forcing Germany still strong enough to proclaim the truth in public.
What does that look? What is that? Why is that good? Why is any body of people forcing any other body of people to do anything good? That's the look you have?
Stupid.
Listen to it again. Listen. I mean, you guys have to be able to listen to this shit. Yeah, you got to develop the ear for it. It says the Dunning-Kruger effect occurs when a person's lack of knowledge and skills in a certain area causes them to overestimate their own competence.
Bingo.
Got him.
The church was one forcing Germany still strong enough to proclaim the truth in public.
The church was forcing people. Doesn't mean it really matter what comes after that. And this is the smile. This is what you get. Explain to me why that's a good, why that is making you smile.
This Catholic priest was arrested.
Oh, she's still going. All right.
The following day on charges of immorality. The Protestant church also continued to try and fight for truth. The Nazis put this man in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
There were others who spoke for.
Yeah, what? He's just stating like chronological events. Nobody made a point about anything. You just see, Catholics were oppressed, so we get points. Sorry, lady, that is leftist thinking. This is not the oppression Olympics. And really, the Catholic Church is the hill that you want to die on for oppression? Come on.
For truth, and I'm proud to say that educators were among them.
Followers of Christ are commanded to obey God and not obey man. So even though it's crazy and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, I'm still going to speak the truth, because if I deny my...
Are you there? You think you are, but you're just repeating the same rhetoric and propaganda from your side of the bullshit that you are fighting against. This is so common. It's so common. Everyone I've ever listened to seems to fall victim to this. They can point out problems on the other side and yet don't see when they're doing the exact same thing. And we all do it. Like I said, it's not, that's human. That's human. So is the Dunning-Kruger effect. To think that you know what you know when you've just learned it. That's human. That's human nature. But if you're not willing to be aware of it, if you're not willing to back it up, and if you're not willing to realize that you don't know everything, then you're just as bad as the people that you're talking about.
My father here on earth, he's going to deny me once I die. And homie,
okay, I'm willing to have that conversation. How do you know that?
We don't play that. And again, they will try to get rid of all religions, but if we're being honest with ourselves, there's one particular belief system
that's perfect, and it's mine.
As it pertains to religion, that gets persecuted a lot in America.
The Jews?
And you have to ask yourself why that is. The other thing that he said...
Because of other dogmatic religions. Exactly what you're showing us right now. What do you mean? Are you really trying to make the argument that Catholics are more oppressed than Jews?
What?
This is some hard copium.
That I found very interesting is the point about how Christians were accused of being immoral. Interesting. I talk
kind of like how secular people are deemed immoral. Kind of like how cis people are deemed immoral. Kind of like how straight white men are being deemed immoral. It's all the same thing.
Another one.
Oh, I thought that was
another one. Another one.
There we go. To get this one, Zippy says local talk was anything and everything the FCC allows, with guests focusing half of the discussion. It was a more open format. Local talk radio was at one time great. Not 102.3 FM Chattanooga. All right, shout out to them. Now FM. God is interpreted by man. Man thinks they know God. Tells other man what God is.
Bingo.
That's how it is. I mean, you don't have to miss him. He's still on, but you got to go through Sirius, and he's going to tell you all the same things that you hear from every other leftist, because he's an old, just an old Democrat who doesn't pay attention to things anymore. He was, out here saying, I don't know exactly what it was, but he was talking about Joe Rogan when, you know, CNN colored his face in that video when he told everybody that he got Rona. And, you know, he was among those people that was like, I don't care about your freedoms anymore. Just get the damn shot.
What?
This is the Howard Stern that I was listening to growing up, like having strippers in the radio station. What you don't realize, what we didn't realize, was that Howard Stern was always controlled opposition. Like Zippy said, what the FCC allows. The FCC is the government. So he was already approved. Facts. Facts, Sean Humble. How the mighty will fall. Any Film says, I don't know about who's more oppressed, but the KKK also did not like Catholics besides the Jews and the blacks and the gays and everyone that wasn't a Baptist Democrat. Well, I mean, yeah, religion will do that to you. Hey, we got a new stream sponsor. Mo, you want a treat? You gotta come get it. I'll leave it up here, but you gotta come. Oh, wait. Go ahead. Come on. There you go. Thank you to Indie Film. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game or the dog. Either way, very much appreciated, brother. Let me fix the banner for you.
Christians were accused of being immoral. Interesting. I talk a lot about morality on this channel, if you haven't realized it by now.
Too.
And I do that not to try and convert you to be a Christian. That's not my job, boo-boo, all right? But I do that to get you thinking. I am of the position that we cannot have objective morality without a moral lawgiver.
Okay, make that argument then. That's just your position. You now have to give reasons why I should believe that.
And if you don't believe in God, then your morality derives from the opinions of other people. If not you, then other people.
Okay. And the Bible was written by other people? Or you wrote the Bible? Is that what you're saying? But if you said, if it's you then. So it's derived from the opinions of, okay, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm just so stupid without this divine wisdom that I can't tell the difference between my version of just saying, I'm going to do what I think is right, and your version of you saying, I'm going to do what I think is right, and what I think is right is in this book. The book was written by people. Honey, I hope you know this, but it's not the Quran. It's not divinely inspired by God. Or excuse me, it is only divinely. It's not the actual word of God. This is straight ignorance. Dunning-Kruger, 1000%. Any Film says, without the text, that looks a bit obscene.
What?
What does? Shannon Bull said, so who decided who the lawgiver is? That's the dogma. She follows it. So it doesn't matter that somebody else decided it. It's just a different somebody else than the somebody else's that she's talking about in this sentence.
Morality without a moral lawgiver.
Sean Bull's question. Who decides who's the lawgiver? How do you know? Let's say there is a God. How do you know that God gives a flying fuck about what you do? Because other people wrote it in a book and told you? Okay, fine. But that's just the same as everybody else.
And if you don't believe in God, then your morality derives from the opinions of other people. If not you, then other people. And that's a bad road you want to be on.
Well, then we're all on the same bad road, honey, because you got your ideals and morals from other people. Just because there's a lot of them doesn't mean it's not other people. This is sad. This is sad. It might be because you got that member badge for being a member, which you can sign up to be a member to the Indian Jesus channel. We did our first members only live stream last night. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I think we had a lot of fun. So come and check them out. Zippy says only those with the secret knowledge are allowed to be the lawgivers. That's what they believe. That's what they believe.
And it's no wonder why Christians were and continue to be
so much better than everybody else.
Accused of immorality, and it's because they're attempting to dissuade people from obtaining their moral standards from God and instead rely on people to determine those standards. So the government, philosophers, activists, scientists.
She's saying that Christians are so oppressed and that they don't want you to follow the Bible because they want you to follow science and philosophy. Sounds like a good deal to me. I gotta hear this one more time. Like, what are you talking about?
To dissuade people from obtaining their moral standards from God. And
why is that a good thing in the first place? You still have not stated the reason why getting your moral standards from God is what should be done.
Instead, rely on people to determine those standards. So,
but you didn't get your standards from God. You got your standards from other people.
Government, philosophers, activists, scientists.
Yeah, all of them, including your religion, including your holy book, have a lot of good ideas. But to you, all government ideas are bad. All philosophy ideas are bad. All activists are bad. All science is wrong. What are you talking about? What are you saying? She may as well be a balloon boy. Zig says her whole vocabulary is very low poor, just using the most popular words heard on social media to explain her beliefs. I wouldn't say that. Let's be nice. But, you know, remember, we like to, on this channel, we like to attack ideas and not people, because we don't want to do this and push people away from our way of thinking because they think things that are different than us. But yeah, this is, you know, exactly what you get with the Dunning-Kruger effect. You read the Bible once 6 months ago. You started watching politics 3 years ago. And that's it. That's it. And that gets you 337,000 people following you. I don't get it.
Other people. The end result is what we have now. It is immoral to deny a woman her right to choose. Choose what? Choose death for her baby. It is.
Oh, now you want to get philosophical. And like, whoa, wait a minute. Philosophical? You said that philosophy was bad. But in fact, you also said science was bad. But in fact, it is the religious, or not religious, the unsubstantiated belief that, oh, baby is consciousness or viability, or these arbitrary words that are political that come in and allow that to happen. You breed the ground for this idea of viability, this idea of consciousness, to be a reason to kill a baby. You did that, Christians. You did that. If you stuck to the science and realized that, once we have new DNA, then we got the $5 super chat, or PayPal from Zippy the Strange. Thank you. And that puts you as the sponsor of the stream. Thank you very, very, very much. But yeah, I mean, she's just, you know, she's wild. She's wilding. She is wilding. I feel like I was gonna. But yeah. I was just saying about the science that, you know, once new DNA is created, that is the only logically, rationally, scientifically honest place to say life begins or ends. So even though, you know, it's only the 1 cent, I'm gonna prioritize those who use Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, just because, you know, obviously YouTube takes 30% of the super chat. So shout out to you. Oh, Zippy is strange.
It's immoral for you to not allow your child to express their true sexual and gender identity.
Again,
How did we
agree with
get
all of
here?
this.
We disconnected from God and put all of that authority or morality in the hands of humans. And now we have a situation where we flip the script and now we're propping up evil as something that's good. And
So what is she saying here? So she's quoting Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put
Another one.
who put darkness for light and light for darkness,
Another one.
who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Another one.
Over and over and over and over and over again. You are just saying things that go completely against your argument. You just have a different dogmatic belief. I'm sorry. Zippy says, if I was a girl, yeah. Oh, definitely. For sure. If only. Well, you know what? I am now a woman.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Who said that? Just kidding. All right. Sean Bull says, just like religion or education, medical choices are personal or family choice. If you want to live dogmatically, that's fine. But subjective morality shouldn't impact on anyone's public policy.
Bingo.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Well said, brother. Well said. Did we get the whoa? Did we get the yeah. Okay. So that's the verse she decides to bring up while she's talking about exactly what she's doing. You're calling science and philosophy bad when it's actually good. You're calling it dark when it's actually light, when it's sweet. Like, you are doing this right now. The projection is so hard. I don't understand how you don't see it. And I really hope somebody points it out in the comments, but I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting it. Six says she kind of reminds me of Myron. Oh no, she also got the look. Oh, Six is going hard tonight. Oh my goodness. Whew. The heat, the spice coming off of Ziggs tonight. Whew. Lars Maroon said the problem is she's been religious for probably 1 year, but somehow thinks that she's an authority on all things Christian.
Bingo.
Exactly. And that is exactly the Dunning-Kruger effect. When you, again, let's pull up the, let's do this. They're always so small. Why are they always so small? So we have the Dunning-Kruger effect here. So up on this axis is how confident you are, and on this axis is how much you actually know. So, obviously the through line is, the more you learn, the more confident you are. But what happens is that, this should actually start right technically here. When you know nothing, you well, actually, no, maybe not. So this says pretty sure you know a whole lot and feel great about it. So that's when you're here. 2 is, you say you know nothing and you're over here. You start learning, and this is where Gothix is. Then 2 is when you start questioning whether you really do actually know that much. Then you go tumbling down, acknowledging that you don't really know that much. Then you get into the insecure canyon. Feeling bad. I don't know. Feeling like you don't know that much. Then they call that grown-up mountain, where, you're not going to learn in a progress is not a straight line like this, which, if you can see, that it would be a straight line as well. Progress is never a straight line. So as you grow up, you realize that you're going to learn a little bit more. You're going to get confident and be like, oh, crap, I thought I knew what I knew, but no, okay, now I know more than I did even before when I was confident, and so on and so on and so on. That is the Dunning-Kruger effect. And with Gothix, it is in full effect. For sure. Zippy said, even older, long-time Christians are blind like that. Yeah, it's definitely not a time thing. That's why it's knowledge and conviction. But the reason that it works, that it's so relevant when it comes to religion or any dogma, is because of the fact that the confidence is built in. They say, "Look, we have all the answers." They say that. So it's not even a matter of, you making the mistake of thinking, like, let's say you wanted to study history. You likely wouldn't pick up one history book and be like, oh, I'm an expert on history. But if that history book was like, this is the only history book that matters, and people actually believe that, and then you read it, you might think that. And that's what's happening here, unfortunately. Because I think, I think she's got a good presence. I think she's got good ideas generally, politically. I like where she stands. And I think that, she could reach a lot of people. But not as long as your axiom is the Bible is right and is somehow not getting morals from other people. Like, who do you think wrote it? Who do you think wrote it?
And we're taking good and making it evil.
There were others who spoke.
Yes, you are.
For truth, and I am proud to say that educators were among them.
I'm also noticing the tattoos there and the piercings. So we're talking about the BBC before, the Bible-believing Christians. Pretty sure it says explicitly, was it Leviticus or Exodus or Revelations, one of those, that adorning your skin like that sends you to hell. So you don't really have a leg to stand on unless you're willing to get that lasered off. And the ring in your face, I mean, that just looks bad. Aside from anything else, it just looks trashy. But do you, homie?
And what, may I ask, is an Aryan? I don't know myself.
Oh, an Aryan.
But let us see what our present so-called authorities have to say about it.
So this would be the, trying to use the analogies. What is an anti-racist? I don't even know. Let's see what our present so-called authorities have to say about it.
Say he is tall, slender, blue-eyed, gay, and blonde. There is no Aryan race, and more important, there is no master race. There are people.
Not only is there no Aryan race, there is no master race. The irony of you pulling up a World War II era documentary to show how bad dogma is, only to then push your own dogma and not realize that you are being dogmatic. I mean, layers on layers on layers of meta.
His idea is convenient, but science cannot support them. There is.
How are you nodding when you're talking, when he said ideas that science cannot support, the convenient ideas that science cannot support? You nodded. You believe in a man in the sky.
Yes, convenient, but science.
Look at nodding.
Support.
Yeah, convenient ideas that science can't support. We don't like that.
There is no scientific proof that there's any correlation between a man's racial characteristics and his native ability.
There's no evidence that believing in God has anything to do with your ability to understand morality. Apparently, a quarter Aryan with the blue eyes. There you go. Hitler would love you, buddy.
Or character. In all racial groups, we find the same range of potentialities. We find idiots and geniuses. We find criminals and philanthropists. We must judge each man as an individual and not by the color of his skin or his eyes or by the length of his nose.
Oh, and here comes the Gestapo. So this is again another weird. Let's make this a poll. I know there's only a few of us here, but does the Old Testament test to Christians? Because I literally, before talking to you guys, I'd never, in all of my 20 years of being a Christian, ever heard anything about how we can completely disregard the Old Testament. That there was certain things in the New Testament that kind of updated what the Old Testament said. But never have I ever heard that we can just throw it away. But many of you who are Christians say that. And like, I mean, I guess if that's the trend now, then I'm not keeping up with it. But kind of doesn't speak well to the tradition of it, does it?
And now they're coming to take him.
Come in, gentlemen. It's comfortable.
I completely agree, Ziggs. The Orthodox Christians are generally the most credible, in my opinion. All others would be Orientalism. It's the West trying to make the Arab Eastern. I don't know about that last part. But yeah, the people who actually believe that the earth is 6,000 years old, the people that actually believe that you go to hell for wearing two different types of cloth, tattoos, like those people I have respect for, because they believe that this book is divinely inspired. And so then they don't pick parts that they like and then parts that they don't, and then act like only other people are picking the morality that they like, and they are just taking what they have and swallowing it whole, because they're not.
Yep. They're taking you.
And to
They've already taken you, sweetie.
remember that there is no master race. That is a
Based.
scientific truth.
Based.
Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
All throughout America, there are parents and educators alike that are fighting against this giant propaganda machine that is the public education system. Back when I was in school, I guess the indoctrination was a little bit subtle in comparison to how it is now. At least to me, my teachers were relatively normal. I think I got a decent education. I can read, I can write, I can speak good, you know?
Speak well. Speak well. You do things well, things are good. So maybe not that well.
But these days, kids are learning about gender identity, sexuality, pleasure, transgenderism.
You already made this point. You already said all of this.
Anti-racism, and a lot of these parents and
And what is your solution? You've established that the problem is, oh, people aren't Christian and we need to go to the Christian. Okay. What is your solution? What is your solution besides literally being a Bible thumper? Hey, Kelly Green is back. What is good? What is good? Kelly, please, 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 seriously, please, if you are around 10, 15 minutes, please, after the show, help me and Melted Mind Media figure out Midjourney. Please. We need just a little bit of direction. So if you're around, please. Any film says, well, is word number 501? What? I tried. I know it doesn't. I need a person.
Transgenderism, anti-racism, and a lot of these parents and educators that are rejecting this stuff are being accused of fascism. They're being called domestic terrorists, extremists even.
Yeah, it's almost like dogmatic, right? It's crazy.
And what does that tell you? It tells you that the government wants full control over what your child learns. And that
almost like the church wants complete control over everything about your life. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Good one. Sorry, I missed it. That was good, but I missed it. That's on me. I apologize. Good one.
that should scare you.
Oh, it does. It does. But you know what doesn't help me being terrified of that? saying, read the Bible, 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 read the Bible. Any of you feel more religious?
As you see in this video, they're taking away a truth teller. They're taking away someone that is rejecting the propaganda and standing up for what's right, and they're getting him out of there. Why? It's because the truth
shall set you free. How are you going to be a Christian and not start a sentence with because the truth and not end it will set you? What? What?
What? What? What?
She really? Okay. All right. I just needed a minute. I just need a minute.
someone that is rejecting the propaganda and standing up for what's right, and they're getting him out of there. Why? It's because the truth the truth is a weapon.
Oh, the truth is a weapon. Based, bro. The truth is a weapon. You ever heard that? I just had this fantastic idea. Nobody's ever thought about this before. The truth is no. Not like a sword or a bat, but like a weapon. You know what I mean, bro? These are stoned conversations I had in my freshman year of college. This is not anything. This is nothing but a demonstration of why you don't deserve to be listened to, Gothix. And I would love to genuinely, like not have a fight about this, but a genuine, real conversation about why this idea that you must believe in God or you must believe in anything is necessary. And the fact that you're thinking that is a zero-sum game that you will not win because there are people like myself who grew up Christian, know a lot more about it than you do, apparently, who have continue to try to believe and simply cannot. And if you continue to do this, all of the stuff that you're listing that we both don't like is going to become more and more and more and more and more prevalent. If you really care about stopping it instead of being right, then let's have a conversation. We can fix this. We can fix this. This is a new arc that you're on. I didn't really follow you before. But we can fix this. I know your channel is 30 times the size of mine, but do with that what you will. I mean, seems to be like your ego is really all you care about anyway. But if you do actually care about fixing society, let me know. Zippy's catching up. Melty says, my truth is fully semi-automatic. No, come on. She wouldn't say that. Zippy says, is it true or false that blacks have more physical ability, physical ability to do what? The fuck are you talking about?
It really is. It really is. And parents, if you have a kid in public education or even private school, because
get them out.
Really, they're doing it everywhere. There's no bounds to where these propagandists will go. I would get involved, find out what they're teaching your kid, especially if you're raising your child with
just say good morals. Just say good, conservative, or traditional, or anything other than religious, Christian, whatever. Please. Please. You are muddying the waters.
Core Christian beliefs. I would figure out if they're teaching something that conflicts with that. And they probably are.
Again, I agree that they are. That is why you need to stop wrapping this up in religion.
And so for all practical purposes, truth had been abolished in Germany.
Another one.
A lot of my German friends...
Oh, yep, well, I was right again. Oh, see how right I am? I'm right about being right.
Are you there?
Sorry, baby girl.
Friends wondered what had hit them. How did it happen? Where did it start? It started right here. And this was where it could have been stopped.
Do you remember how much trouble what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg got in for saying that the Holocaust wasn't religious or wasn't about religion or you know, I don't remember the exact terminology. It seems to be like that's what you're doing. You don't realize that the entire Holocaust was based on religion. Without religion, there is no Holocaust. Think on that. Think on that. I'm not saying there's no fascism, there's no genocide. I'm not saying that. We know there's been atheistic regimes. Not that they were killing people in the name of atheism, as the other genocides that we have are killing people in the name of God. So not an equal comparison if you want to go that way yet. But it's all about religion. And even if it's not about specifically religion, it is always about dogma. Yeah, she's like, oh, well, like,
What?
I don't get it.
If those people had stood together, if they had protected each other, they could have resisted the Nazi threat. Together they would have been strong. But once they allowed themselves to be split apart, they were helpless.
Okay, so I'm going to play this part again. And when they use the word they, replace it, or you don't even have to replace it. Assume they are talking about the anti-woke. Right? So when they say they, the they that we're pretending they're referring to is the anti-woke. Let's check this out and see if it fits.
And this was where it could have been stopped. If those people had stood together.
Okay, those people, again, the anti-woke. If the anti-woke had stood together, instead of dividing among religious lines.
They had protected each other.
They had protected each other.
They could have resisted the Nazi threat.
They could have resisted the trans-woke threat, whatever we want to put in there. How do you not see that this is it's a math equation? It's literally algebra. You could do this on a calculator.
Together they would have been strong. But once they allowed themselves to be split apart,
along religious lines,
they were helpless. When that first minority lost out, everybody lost out.
Bingo!
They made the mistake of gambling with other people's freedom.
Bingo!
Now let's see how those bets paid off. Carl the farmer was gambling on a better life for himself. What he got was extra hours of back-breaking work, as much as 100 hours a week. He was forced to stay on his land and produce what he was told to produce, because now Hitler was preparing for war. For Heinrich, who owned a hardware store, the bet didn't pay off either. 104,000 small businesses were closed in 2 years.
Another one. Another one. Another
one. Oh, more? Okay.
I don't even need to say anything. You guys already know. A lot of these small businesses are never coming back. Meanwhile, the big box chains were open. Walmart was open. Amazon stayed open. All these places stayed open, but not the private small business mom and pop shops.
Right. Just like in the video that you just showed, the they, which is now us, both of us, if we had stayed together and protected each other, then the woke mob, the establishment, whatever you want to put in there, wouldn't have won. But these places stayed open, but not the private small mom and pop shops, because we didn't stick together. How do you not get it? It is coming right out of your mouth, and still you do not understand. Sippy says, some say there are a disproportionate number of blacks in sports. Thus, are they on average better at physical activities? It's proposing a theory, not all are the same. I mean, I think in general, probably, yeah, when it comes to sports, depending on what the sport is, probably black people, because they were bred for slavery to do work. The genetics geneticized. That's what genetics is. Yeah, I don't really know what that has to do with what we're talking about.
And as for the farm owner, I'm sure you guys have noticed, or maybe you haven't, because the propaganda machine that is our mainstream media.
Oh, please tell us what we're missing. Please tell us what we're missing out of this.
Conveniently neglects to talk about how a lot of food distribution plants and farms have just been decimated these last couple of years, mostly due to mysterious fires. They don't want people being self-sufficient. So if you can grow your own food and you have your own plot of land, that's no bueno for someone who wants full control over everyone.
And for Hans, conditions hadn't improved any. He had a job now in the munitions factory, but he worked long hours for little pay. The working conditions grew increasingly bad. Even though
that said, hold on. I was talking about long hours, 20 hours.
The working
20 hours a day, and then in 1932 there was 34 deaths per 1,000 workers, which had doubled in 6 years. Monty said those were big company farms, not small farms. Oh yeah, obviously that is completely irrelevant to what she's talking about. She just has a talking point about, oh, big pharma, or not big pharma, but big business stayed open. Like it's just, you hear store and farm, and it's it's like, oh, I know, good thing. Same kind of shit, just irrelevant.
Increasingly bad. And even though he didn't like the job,
it is strictly forbidden to leave one's job.
Wasn't permitted to leave it. And when Hitler decided the time was right, Germany went to war.
Did you hear that? Oh,
did you hear that?
You communist socialists, we're fighting for workers' rights. That's gonna be you. If you don't like how much money you're making right now, then start your own business. It's as simple as that. But no, all these people do is complain and complain and complain about how little their wages are and the work environment. Boo-boo, if you don't want to work, no one is forcing you to work.
True.
Yet.
Not
based. That was a base take. No one's forcing you to work yet. That is based.
Declaring war, but by a carefully prepared sneak attack. Once again, Hitler needed Hans to do his dirty work. Hans was an expert at brutality this time, and Hitler had decided to use Hans and his brutality against other peoples, the Czechs, the Poles, the French, the Russians. But in the crucial test of war, Hitler's race theories didn't pay off. His pure-blooded supermen were defeated by the mongrel armies he despised.
Loser got beaten by mongrel armies.
By the British of El Alamein.
So again, I don't know how you can be doing the video that she's doing, watching what we're watching, and not see like, oh, they thought they were superior because of X. And then the very people they thought they were superior over beat them. Now here I am saying a certain type of person is superior. And if you don't follow that, then these type of people are going to beat you. When really, it's looking like the leftists, the LGBT people, the woke mob is winning. But yeah, I guess that doesn't really help your narrative. So let's just ignore it. Zippy says, I still cannot get over how World War I half started by Germany invading Russia through France. Franz Ferdinand, right? The shot heard round the world.
By the Russians at Stalingrad. Then on D-Day by American soldiers of every color and religion, who smashed across the Normandy beaches and drove on through to the heart of Germany. For the misguided Germans who had swallowed the Nazi bait, the Nazi game did not pay off. The continent of Europe was strewn with millions of German bodies. Pure Aryan bodies. and Hans who was going to
Pure Christian buddies. Like, how do you not hear it? How do you not hear it?
rule the world got only a little patch of Normandy that he could call his own.
All because a small group of people became either fearful or envious. It resulted in a lot of people dying.
So, like, a group of Christians being afraid that secular people are going to create, I don't understand how you don't draw the parallels. A small group of people being afraid of everybody else, purifying themselves, and then getting beaten out by the people they've deemed dirty. It is literally what you are doing to me right now. Well, not right now, but 12 days ago. That is what you were doing.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it is. You should think about it a little bit more. It'll get even crazier.
And if we don't watch our step, that's where we're going to end up. I don't mean to scare people, but legitimately, that's what's going to happen. And as I've said before, we have so much evidence to look at the patterns throughout history of what has led to these types of atrocities. And it's happening right now. So how do we stop it? I have some advice, but I'm going to save my thoughts for the end of the video. Let's continue.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. So she does have thoughts, guys. She actually does, in fact, have thoughts. I'm excited. I'm excited.
We must never let that happen to us or to our country. We must never let ourselves be divided by race or color or religion.
How do you not hear it? He explicitly said it. Our country, we must never let ourselves be divided by race or color or religion. He literally just said it.
Another one.
It's just in case you missed it.
Our country. We must never let ourselves be divided by race or color or religion.
Bingo.
Because in this country, we all belong to minority groups. I was born in Hungary. You are a Mason. These are minorities. And then you belong to other minority groups, too. You are a farmer. You have blue eyes. You go to the Methodist Church. Your right to belong to these minorities is a precious thing. You have a right to be what you are and say what you think, because here we have personal freedom. We have liberty. And these are not just fancy words.
No, they're not. But, dogma is.
This is a practical and priceless way of living, but we must work it. We must guard everyone's liberty, or we can lose our own. If we allow any minority to lose its freedom by persecution or by prejudice, we are threatening our own freedom. And
so you mean like secular people? If they're in risk of, if we're at risk of losing our freedom by persecution or by prejudice, then you're threatening your own freedom.
Another one.
this is not simply an idea. This is good, hard common sense. Here in America, it's not a question whether we tolerate minorities. America is minorities.
Based. America is minorities. Whether that is the religious minority or the racial minority or any other thing, we are all under the same thing that you brought up. We are all under that one American flag. And guess what's not on that flag? And guess what's not on that flag specifically and deliberately? Anything to do with religion. Anything.
And that means you and me. So let's not be suckers. We must not allow the freedom or dignity of any man to be threatened by any act.
I'm clapping in a video telling me the video that I'm making is wrong. Yay, yay, I'm so wrong. I'm so wrong. Yay.
Shut up!
Or word. Let's be selfish about it. Let's forget about we and they. Let's think about us.
That was excellent.
Okay, she's going to give us her thoughts now. We've been going 44 minutes, but the last 2 minutes, the last minute and 50 seconds, This is all gonna be the final culmination of everything, of why I'm wrong. And if Gothix, if you obviously I haven't seen this yet, so if you say something that makes me sit back and go, I guess you're right, then I will make a dedicated video on how wrong I am, and I will give an apology. Not because I think you will see it or care, but because it will make me look bad. But I don't think I'm going to have to do that. Let's see, shall we?
Imagine that. This was filmed in 1947 and people are still acting like suckers. So what this guy said at the end of this video was spot on.
I know it was. So why are you not listening to that advice? If it was spot on, then stop dividing people on the grounds of religion. If you think we are better together, stop dividing us.
I love the advice. And
then follow it.
And if I could add some more advice,
just read the Bible more.
On top of that, I would say this. Don't be so quick to dismiss information just because you think it's irrelevant or it's inconvenient.
Another one.
That is no different from a detective that dismisses potential evidence just because they don't like it.
Bingo!
Like, it's not very logical to do. And essentially, the result of that is boxing yourself in so only certain information comes in. And it's sort of like what the media is doing when they say, don't listen to this channel because it's misinformation.
Or when somebody says, don't listen to anybody who doesn't believe the thing that I believe.
Another one.
Don't listen to this person because they're a science denier. You're doing the same thing, but you're...
No. I am not doing the same thing. You are doing the same thing.
Doing it on your own. You're right. So just take in...
Yeah, that's worse, isn't it? Listen to what you just said. It's worse, isn't it?
Because it's misinformation. Don't listen to this person because they're a science denier. You're doing the same thing, but you're doing it on your own.
So now you don't even have the excuse of, oh, this is how it was brought up. Oh, I thought this was morality. Oh, I thought... You're doing it on your own. You're being antithetical to the progress of this country and to the human race. But instead of doing it in the name of God, or I guess you are doing it in the name of God. So, like so many others. So I guess, you know.
Haram!
You're right. So just take in the information and use critical thinking to form a conclusion, but don't be so quick to just dismiss it before you even hear how it connects to the bigger picture. So really quickly, I want to read you two things. And
I thought you were going to give us your thoughts. Oh, that was it? That was it? Don't do the thing that I'm doing right now? Don't be like me? Or listen to advice that you agree with and then not understand it and tell other people to take it? I must have missed it. Let's see what grand quote she's going to bring to us to bring us home.
And this is from Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13. And it reads, if one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame.
Okay, so then you've given an answer that the Bible is correct, that God exists, all of that stuff. So is that your folly and shame?
Not to poke at you, but here's another one. In Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15, it reads, the simple believes everything, but the prudent gives thought to his steps.
Another one.
There's nothing to say. The irony sits on itself. The irony sits on itself. The simple believes everything. Like the Bible. The prudent gives thought to his steps. Like me, the secular conservative. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can see the issues but not be able to determine you're involved in the same exact behavior. I mean, I know we all have blind spots, but oh my God, that is crazy. That is crazy. Opus says, that is great advice, but it would be just as great without the dogma. Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's finish this up.
So don't believe everything is nonsense. Don't believe in this idea of social justice and Marxism just
Another
because
one.
Or Christianity.
everyone else is doing it.
Another one.
Really think about it and just don't dismiss things just for the sake of, you know, you believing that you have all the answers. Go in.
Another one.
Yikes. Yikes. This, I honestly, Gothix, if you had just made this like a 10-minute video and picked one clip, because you just said the same thing a bunch of times, you didn't actually bring anything new. You would have been able to get away with, you know, the average Christian conservative messaging. But the fact that you weren't always Christian, now you are, and you're specifically going on something that twice referenced directly and explicitly dividing amongst religion, and not seeing that you're doing that by saying, oh, you have to believe in this. I know you're not stupid. I know you're not stupid. And the fact that makes it scarier. If you were just some dumb bitch, then I'd just be like, oh, well, I'm dumb bitch, whatever. Oh, well. But I know that you're not. It is only dogma that can make good people commit atrocities. And, I mean, as far as YouTube goes, this video is an atrocity.
To every encounter with the expectation to learn something new. I promise you, if you keep searching for truth, you're going to find it.
Because you have it, right?
But yeah, check out Proverbs if you want some more wisdom.
Already have. There's some good stuff there, but still don't need to believe in God to go for it. Go with it.
There's a lot in there. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do me a solid and hit the like and subscribe button. And if
I want to show you guys something. Even though I very much disliked everything, and this is not just for me, I know all of the YouTubers that you watch will definitely appreciate this. It costs you nothing to hit the like button, and it does so much. I want to shout out to you guys for hitting the like button on this video. But like the fact that she took the time to do this and put it together and put it up, and this is her livelihood. Click of a button won't kill us. Unfortunately, that is the last of the positivity that I can speak about. I mean, it like there's not even anything for me to opine on. It's just like you said all of these things and then showed a video that specifically, directly, explicitly told you that what you are doing is going to cause the end, it's going to cause the Holocaust, and then double down 4 times by the end. The classic silly Billy. Silly Billyism. There you go. That's her new religion. When she's done with Christianity, which I guarantee you that 5 years from now, she won't be talking about, religion. There's a lot of good books in the Bible. There's a lot of good, yeah, there you go. There's a lot of good books in the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. But there's a lot of wisdom that's not in the Bible. Dare I say most of the wisdom that we have, specifically, definitely when it comes to morality, that wisdom is not found in the Bible. And you could read it over and over and over and over and over again, but it's not going to show up because these ideas didn't exist until long after the people who wrote that book wrote it. So, I mean, let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. You know, we're going back to the Dunning-Kruger effect. Let this be a lesson. Don't let this be you. Don't let this be you. This is the video we just watched. This is the video that this is the stream that you just watched. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to listen to? Just saying. So, shout out to everybody who was hanging out And a big, big, big thank you to Lars and Rune and for Indie Film and to the stream sponsor, Zippy the Strange. Thank you so much for supporting. You guys know how much it means to me, and I know you don't like when I get mushy, so I won't do it, especially since I got a little mushy last time when you guys all signed up to be members. Man, that warmed my heart, but I felt like showing you this video was very important because it just so perfectly, I mean, I only skipped through it, so I didn't know how perfect it was going to be, but it was like chef's kiss of exactly why this channel needs to grow. We need to be, because that most people who watch that video, most people, if they see what we just saw, they're gonna be like, yeah, totally, that awesome. And they'll go on living with the same values that we want them to have, but they will block out anybody who also has those values but believes something different. Thank you, Opus, for showing up, and thank everybody. Even if you were not able to monetarily support, there is many ways to support. Like I said, hitting that like button, sharing the video, guys. That is so huge. If you could share the video using the share button, that actually is going to do more. And Zippy, whichever, I mean, whatever is easier for you. I mean, I'm not gonna. That's up to you. That's up to you. I do what I do, and you guys know what you are comfortable with and can do. I'm just here to give you the entertainment. The what you want to give is up to you. I don't have any preferences. I appreciate, the fact that channel members, it shows that oh, this channel has more members. If you send me through a Cash App or a Venmo or a PayPal, it's going to be more money in my pocket. But that's not really what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to fix the goddamn world, and we're going to do it. We just have to keep. I need you guys to keep coming back, and I need me to keep coming back. And as long as we all keep coming back, we will win. We will win. Because they don't realize that there is a battle that they can lose. They've had the establishment behind them for too long. They don't understand. But we do. And so when the pendulum swings back in our direction, instead of just hanging on and riding it like a wrecking ball until it goes back the other way, we're going to use that power to create things that will last in our culture. That is what will really, that is what really will happen. Zippy, we'll talk about it in Discord, where we are headed right now for the after party. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Morty is asleep on the floor. I tried to show you where he is, but he just took his bed off the chair and is passed out right here. But he is still the co-host, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, don't forget, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m., and new videos every single day, and even more if you're a member. Until next time, guys, peace.